on the last stream that I went to. I
No, you
remember
didn't.
thinking to myself that I really wanted to be on call and talking, but I can't just ask these random people to let me into their stream, that would be insane.
Well,
Yeah, could you imagine if you just...
hey, here in this show, okay, if somebody saw us live on air and wanted to immediately join the call, everybody's allowed to. We don't do anything to stop it, so anybody is welcome.
Please don't encourage that right when we're on air.
I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't know why you do.
But Ari, it'd be very funny,
Because it
though.
will be a problem eventually.
Yeah,
Okay,
and when it does,
that's
I just
set in,
kick the
like,
person who
10
makes it a
years.
problem. It's not that big of a deal. What do you mean? You think we're gonna blow up in popularity that quick? That we're gonna have like 1 million people joining at once trying to like say slurs? That'd be.
It doesn't take 1 million. It just takes one.
And I just banned them, and then the problem's done. It's not that big of a deal that you're making it out to be. So that's why I don't lock the chat or whatever. So anybody's welcome to join.
Ari.
Are we live yet?
Yeah,
I
we
wanted to talk about Silent Hill.
Why can't you talk about it? We can talk about it. We can talk about Silent Hill F.
No.
Why can't we talk about Silent Hill F?
It's okay, Ari. You can DM me.
I was half awake. No, that's a lie. So I was.
Great start.
I was half asleep. Those are
that
not
the
the
same
same
thing?
thing. That is not the same thing.
Can you explain to me the difference, Ari? It's like
The
glass half
difference-
full, glass half empty.
Half awake is like you're awake, but you're really sleepy and tired. Half asleep, I
You are
was
not
in
with
my
it.
bed with my eyes closed with the TV on.
Shadow, aren't we supposed to be the knower of things?
That's the half asleep.
And
that was me.
Not all of them.
And that was me last night because my favorite streamer decided to guerrilla finish Silent
Wolfborg?
Hill F, and you know, California times, 2 hours later than earlier, whatever. It's different than my time zone, so it was late for me when he finished, and I was just like, I know I'm not going to like go back and watch the VOD of this if I fall asleep. Like if I turn my TV off now,
That's
so
the
I
pressure with
just.
stream. You can't go back to them really. It's not the same.
It depends on the stream and the streamer. Like I watch a ton of Germa VODs, but like for different streamers, I'm just like, no, I need to watch this live or else I'm never gonna watch it. So I was just half awake, seeing Hinako and the ending and stuff. Just like, oh, this is gonna feel like a fever dream.
As I like to
Nice
say,
for you, Kishi would have wanted.
the fog is
Want
coming.
it.
When you are in that level of sleepiness, it feels like the fog is coming.
Yes.
And it will.
London.
Okay. This is good. Who do we know is not making it this week? Aztec's not making it. Baguetti is busy, it sounded like.
I can't remember if Andy said he wasn't making it or if he was.
Andy's probably,
No,
as usual,
Andy's
Andy's probably going to be
here,
there,
but
but
late.
just going to be late. Yeah, as usual.
Okay.
That's fine. Which is
Yeah,
fine.
I feel like I
Perfectly fine.
remember Andy saying that they were going to be there just an hour late, so maybe around 10.
That happens. It's fine. Soul's probably going to be in the peanut gallery. And
Shino, I know, is going to be gone for most, if not all of this.
probably. Turando might join us. I don't remember seeing him say he couldn't make it.
He did do the reading, it seems like, so.
That's true. I was seeing those spoiler zone messages.
Tornado was definitely live blogging.
Sweet. Okay. I believe Iron's not around for this series.
Yeah, I think they're not around. I don't think.
Okay. We're just trying to make
Yeah.
sure
There's enough for Yuri. There's not enough Yuri in those. That's why
Oh,
Shino
okay.
and Iron aren't here.
Oh, I see.
Well, I don't know about that.
We got
There
time.
is
We got
not enough
time.
Yuri in this series.
We got time.
The
We got
Yuri-
time.
You want
the
to
Yuri
argue
is
with me
very
on that,
subtle.
Anne? Huh?
The Yuri is very subtle. What of it there is?
Anne?
There-
You want to argue
there
with
is-
me on that?
There is Yuri
I
everywhere
don't
for
like
those with
arguing with
eyes to
people.
see it.
And I'd
I
say
would argue with
cowards, all
you.
of them.
I'm simply right.
Wow.
Whatever helps you feel better.
I like your attitude.
I'll let you sleep tonight.
Okay.
My
One day I'll
soundboard
get
wouldn't
that
open
done
for
for.
like 5
One
minutes.
day I'll get onto the
The
soundboard.
delay.
Okay, so I think pretty much the main potential person we're waiting on before we start is Turndo. So let's ping
Hypothetically
him.
speaking. Oh wait, hold on. We also got Ping Coda.
Oh yeah, of course, Coda's going to be around. Yeah, Coda's been around for the past several series.
Of course.
I think Coda left in the middle of Sailor Moon.
I think I'm the start actually, not in the middle of the start.
Something like that.
I want to probably.
Koda was there for like 1 week, I think. Maybe 2.
I don't think. I think it was at least 2. I think it was at least 2.
She's currently going through a midlife crisis.
That
don't worry about
happens. That happens.
Oh, damn.
Aren't we all?
Midlife
so-
30-year-old crisis.
Sorry.
Hey,
Basically midlife.
Hopefully not a midlife
Is that
crisis.
60?
Midlife for
Alright,
me at
question.
least. Yeah, what's up?
Could you define midlife crisis in this scenario?
What does it sound like?
Don't worry about
It's when you
it.
realize your life is mid.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
I have that happen
is
often.
Literally.
Very well said.
Hold
It
on, I
happens
thought you just-
often.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we could probably just get started for now, and then if Turndo or anybody else joins later on, they are welcome to do so. Andy will probably join us later, but I think this is pretty much everybody that we were expecting to be here for this. So let's just get going then. I'll take off pre-show here. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of the Anime Book Club here on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick all at the same time. You can check out all these things every Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We are continuing our discussion this week about Kagerou Daze, Volumes 3 and 4 this week. But before we get into that, let's introduce our guest that we have for this week in alphabetical order as I see it on Discord. Anne's Theory of Happiness. Introduce yourself.
Hi. I'm Anne, or Anne, whichever you prefer. What am I going to recommend this week? I really should have thought of it beforehand. You know what? Go read National Park Girls.
Based?
Woo!
Based?
Yuri! Who's
Yuri-
best girl? Who's the best park?
Ooh,
Not best girl, best park.
ooh. Best park.
Park? Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. All right.
I love Yosemite, but like, okay, I was gonna say Yosemite would agree with me. She would not agree with me,
No.
but Zion would agree with me, and that's more important.
Yeah. I keep trying to get him to make a Smoky Mountains one.
Oh, I live near the Smoky
That'd be
Mountains.
fun.
Ooh. All right.
Be a
Anything else?
moonshiner.
Anything else, Anne?
Without love, it cannot be seen.
That's true. I hear that's true. So go check out National Park Girls if you haven't already. Next up, Orimia. Introduce yourself. I'm noticing the lack of double Yuri in the name too. I'm noticing that.
I think I
don't
took
see.
that off last week.
So we don't have Yuri anymore. It's just Orimia. There's...
No, there's too many men in this. Sorry.
Oh, you know what? That's fair. That's fair.
For
So
now.
fun fact about Kagerou to cut in real quick, they actually made an effort to have a balanced cast. Originally, Konoha was a girl, but they had
Oh.
like one too many girls, and so they made him a boy, so it would be more even. And one of the songs is opened up with Shonen Shoujo, boys and girls come look on ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, all right. That's interesting. That's interesting. Thank you so much for that.
And an even more interesting thing, the manga was actually serialized in a shoujo manga, but the light novel was released under a male demographic imprint.
Oh, okay, all right. All right. Oh, welcome, Andy. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello. Ari, was there anything else, any recommendation this week?
Hey, you thought you were gonna be late.
Silent Hill
Well,
F?
National Park Girls?
Silent Yeah, National Park Girls. Yeah.
Babe.
Do it for Yellowstone.
Do it for Eve.
Yeah.
Do it
Okay.
for Eve.
All right. Anything else, Ari?
And support your national parks. They
Yes,
need
do that too.
it.
Yes.
National parks are nice.
That's
I
true.
went to one just a few weeks ago. It's nice. Go support
right.
your national parks and read National Park Girls, Yuri.
Go do that if you are interested in that. All right, we're going to jump back up real quick to Andy, who has now joined. Andy, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Andy. I use he, they pronouns, please. I'm an artist, so if you want to follow me while I do Umi-tober, that'd be super cool. I'm not on Bacon Everywhere. And I recommend driving safely when it rains so that you don't swerve into my lane and hit my car. Please
Only
and
your
thank
car.
you.
Anyone else
And
is fine.
so you don't hit
Instructions are clear.
Hiyori-chan.
I don't care about anybody else's car, but somebody almost hit me on my way home today, and it was stressful.
Oof. Well,
Driving stressful.
True.
very true. Very true.
This
All
is a new
right.
fact. That was known since today.
Thank you for that, Andy. Next up, me, Ane Borg, aka Wolfborg, aka Chaplain, aka the best anime book club host you've ever heard of if you've checked out at least this show. Don't bother checking out the others. I don't know if there are others. But anyways, this week I would recommend a current seasonal anime called May I Have One Final Request, in which the quote villainous character, or the cast has made her the villainous character, I guess, just says, you know what, I'm just gonna start punching people, fuck this shit. And it's pretty funny from the first episode that we saw. It was very good. So
She chose violence. Is what
she
we're trying to
chose
say.
violence. All right, she's ready to beat the shit out of people. All right, good for her. And that's me. So next up, Ava Shadowman V4. Introduce yourself.
I'm sure the thing I recommend this time is don't be sick.
Oh, that's a good recommendation.
Oh yeah, I recommend that too. Preemptively, I'm seconding that. I'm seconding that.
You can't just steal my answer. What the hell?
I didn't steal it. I seconded it, which is basically the same as cheering it on. Here, I'll golf clap for you.
I feel like we're be good friends. I feel like we're be good friends. I can already tell. I can see it.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, Shadow?
Got his ass.
No, that's all.
All right. Thank you so much to that. And next up, we have a new member of our guests here, Noctera T77. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Noctura. You can call me Tura for short if you want. And I really like the Kagerou project, like a lot. And you know, when you said I needed to put a recommendation forward, the first thing in my head was Kagepro, because that's usually the thing I recommend because no one's heard of it. But to keep in the theme of Yuri, because you guys seem to like Yuri, as you should, I will
Based.
recommend the 2016 sort of magical girl 12-episode anime original series Flip Flappers, which is very good
Ooh.
and stylistically interesting.
Oh,
You should check it
yeah.
out
Yes.
if
I've
you're
been meaning
interested
to
in it.
watch that.
We watched
And
it,
also,
like 4
by the
years ago,
way,
Jeff.
We did.
I
we did.
sound
It was
like
good.
this because I'm getting over a cold.
Yeah, you are all
Nice.
good. You're here. You're surviving, and that's all we can ask for. Anything else, Noctera?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And that's everybody that we have here that we know is going to be here for this week, at least. If anybody else joins later, they're more than welcome to. So let's begin this week's discussion, volumes 3 and 4 of Kagerou Daze, which immediately steps away from the story that we had going so far to give us backstory. Primarily this week was a
Hold
lot
on,
of
Jeff.
backstory about
You're
Annie.
just being ahead here.
This was
We gotta
literally
ask
the
what
start
Eric-
of it.
What Andy thought of the first 2 volumes. 'Cause
Okay,
Andy
Oh.
here.
okay, all right, okay. Andy, what did you think about the first 2 volumes?
Kind of boring.
Damn.
Moving on. No, I'm kidding.
What didn't you like about the first 2 volumes?
They don't feel real. I talked about this a little bit.
Andy, they're fictional characters. What do you expect?
I talked about this a little bit, I think, in spoiler zone, because after I'd finished the first and second ones, where a lot of Shintaro's behaviors feel extremely out of character for what we'd been introduced in the beginning of him being like a NEET. The first one initially was the fact that he did end up kind of like, I don't know, like going up against the terrorists or whatever, like he was fighting back. I was like, hey, that's a little weird for like the character archetype that we've been introduced to. And then subsequently, the fact that he was like caring for Marie for some reason, I think it makes a little more sense when we get into the rabbit stuff later. But I'm like, they feel they don't it doesn't feel like this is real, like, to the characters. Shintaro seems way too caricaturized, and also like they reacted way too mildly to the fact that they were being held hostage and like were being threatened to be killed, you know. The it just doesn't it I don't know.
Yes. No, you're right. That's how I felt about the that whole scene. But I justified it to myself with that was not to like give it a pass or something, but like to me that feels very reminiscent of just manga from that time period, especially for
I
that demographic, because this feels like it is meant for the age group of the actual characters, so like 15 or so. So this it reminded me of manga from that time period, of like shonen from that time period, where it you would have the characters in these kind of high stakes situations, and there would be an air of nonchalance to it, like they are scared in it, but clearly not as scared as real people would be. But that is just kind of how a lot of manga is, depicts those kind of things, especially at that time period, at least to me.
Yeah, I
I
was
don't
thinking
think.
about it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just thinking about it a little more on my way home, and I was like on my drive and stuff. Not why I almost got hit by a car, unrelated. But
That would have been very poetic, though, considering the frequent subject matter of this series involving people getting hit by cars. But
it's just like
Life
I think
imitates art.
I have I think what I'm struggling with a little bit with this series is that, like Ari said, I have to look at it through a different lens. And I feel like I talk about this with every single fucking series that we read. Is the
You do.
idea that I can't be reading this like it's gonna sorry, Noctera.
Oh.
I'm apologizing in advance for what
say
I'm about
what
to
you
say.
will. I can take
I
it.
I can't go into this thinking it's going to be good literature because it's obviously going to be very heavily caricaturized, especially with the way that just like everybody is being presented. And I have to think about that. I have to go into this going, there's not necessarily going to be a whole lot of nuances to this necessarily. Like there might be some, but it's not going to be like I'm picking this apart in a literature class. It's a
You wish
manga
this
that
was
was written for
Umineko.
15. I wish this was Umineko.
You wish
This-
everything we read now
this-
is Umineko.
This is what Umineko
Listen,
does to
I
some people,
tried
you
to
know?
recommend Higurashi, and we chose this instead.
That's true. Higurashi almost
So-
won.
You know, I think that kind of
I
interests
love
me. I don't
both.
think that anything you're saying is necessarily wrong, but I always think of Shintaro as being really consistently characterized. That could just be because I've been thinking about this guy like he's lived in my head for over 5 years at this point. So I don't know. I just kind of used
Well,
to
and
him. But
almost
I've always thought of him as, I don't know. He starts off as definitely this kind of prickly, unpleasant loser, but he is not devoid of his own good or heroic qualities. Not that that cancels the prickly loser bits out, because it absolutely doesn't. I think the novels expand on this a little bit later. I'm sorry, I keep referencing back to the novels. The novels, man.
It all
You gotta
just
see
kind
it.
of becomes a soup.
Anyways, no, it doesn't become a soup. I can remember specific events. I just really like the novels. There's this scene in the novels where, to keep it vague to avoid giving away too much, he sort of faces down a guy with a gun, and it's told from the perspective of another character. And they talk about how he seems absolutely fearless the entire time, and then the situation is diffused, and he falls over and talks about being really terrified the entire time. Anyways, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I think we also kind of see that in the hostage situation itself, where
Exactly.
he runs and does the thing that he needs to do, and then he
And then
gets
he passes
shot
out.
at, and then immediately passes out.
I think the idea that like he stood up too fast is really funny to me, because he does something that might be kind of cool, but then he passes out because he stood up too fast, and Connell has to carry him back to base.
Dog's got courage and also anemia.
Yes, exactly.
Based.
So
And
yeah, I
also,
mean, it was.
I'll
I was
finish.
just gonna
he kind
say.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it was a good enough introduction, and I'm interested, but it felt mundane
Mm.
for what I thought it was gonna be, at least.
Which characters did you like out of the cast that you met so far in the first 2 volumes?
In the first 2 volumes, I liked the Kano and the purple one.
Oh,
He's not
Kido.
purple in the manga, obviously, but yeah.
Kido.
Right, yeah. Okay.
And Momo gets on my nerves.
Damn,
I
why she
love
got
Momo.
why she
Feel
got on
issue.
your nerves?
Unfortunately, I don't like that character archetype. I have a feeling that I'm gonna be bringing the
What
idea of
character archetype?
happy-go-lucky idol who is just optimistic about everything. Like, come on, have some weight in your
She's
life.
Not optimistic though, because she's
Literally
very
breaks down
down
crying.
about her situation of being an idol and trying. Like she quits immediately as soon as she like gets the
With a
opportunity.
weird
to
text to her producer.
Literally anything else. She's
Might
like,
I
I'm
reiterate-
leaving. Bye.
I've joined a
Right?
gang.
Might I reiterate, breaks down crying in the middle of the street.
Like she is definitely she has that kind of persona where she looks happy go lucky, but there's too many panels of her just looking dead inside, just that kind of exasperated look where she's like, oh.
See,
Maybe I just think you did it better.
I don't
That's
think
fair.
Momo is necessarily a step for the smiler in that Momo is not faking her cheer. She is very genuine about both her suffering and her happiness. And
See, that's what I don't like. Genuine happiness? Boo. Get that shit out of here.
What?
This
know
is
what,
Sorry,
Andy?
can't have that.
I can agree with you. I'm with you on this
Boy,
one.
do I have a novel to recommend you?
Stop being so
Happiness,
fucking
that's
happy. What's
crazy.
wrong with you?
Yeah, I
We
guess
can't
that's
have
your
it.
theory of. I guess that's Andy's theory of happiness. That's
There
Andy's
you
theory of
go.
happiness.
Well.
It doesn't exist.
Down love can't be seen, is what I hear. Okay, any other thoughts you had, Andy, that you want to discuss about the first 2 volumes that stood out to you? Okay, well, it sounds like nothing. All right, so
Guess not.
Yeah, sorry, I was thinking, but everything else that I have to say is about the next 2 volumes.
yeah, that's
Well,
fine. That's
I
fair.
have something to say about the first 2 volumes, okay?
Yeah, what's that? What's that?
Okay, and I couldn't say this last time because Andy wasn't here, okay? But this doesn't work without Andy, okay? I like to,
okay,
I like
it's
to
a bit. Okay.
believe
Oh.
that we're all experts at something here, you know? Chef's expert at hosting, Noctera's an expert at Kagerou Daze, at least from what I can tell.
Thank
Kakakori's
you.
the
I
expert
do
of
try.
Mineko. And Andy is the expert of cats.
Wait, so are you calling yourself the expert of Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, I'm the expert of bad video games and Mega Man.
No, Ari, he said you're the expert of Umi Neko.
Yes, and I said Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
Not Yu-Gi-Oh. I
Do you-
gotta get that clear.
So you want to be the expert of Yu-Gi-Oh?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just
Ari's
want
like,
to know which
God,
shadow things
no.
I'm the expert of.
Listen, I am. I don't want to be.
Unwilling
Anyway.
expert.
Well, everybody's
That's a
everybody's
curse, not a
getting...
blessing.
All right, well, everybody's been assigned titles for what they're best at, I guess. All right, sweet. Anything else before we get into
I got left out, and that feels right.
Okay, well, Ed's the expert at making good jokes, alright?
Meow.
True.
Is this true,
Aw.
Andy?
No. Absolutely the fuck
See,
not.
see, that was funny. See, that was funny. So yeah.
Very well timed.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, so what I wanted to ask is, when they explain Kai's ability, like, imagine you found a kid on the street, but you take it home, and whoops, it's actually a Rottweiler. It's kind of like that. Is this true, Andy? Does this happen?
What?
I'm
Has
so
this
confused.
happened?
Me too.
It's like if you found a cat on the street and you brought it home and it was raw. I mean, yeah, that's basically what trying to take stray cats is like sometimes.
Huh.
Why the fuck?
Well,
Sorry. I'll
I
have
do
it
remember it was a
iterated.
quote at some point here. I'm just very
Yeah,
confused
there,
at what's
it was.
happening.
It's when
It was
Cheadle's
hot.
explaining how Connell's power works. Connell's power, he can cast illusions on himself,
Oh,
and she's
that,
likening
okay.
it to like
That's why I
it
said, you
being a
guys not paying
different animal.
attention?
No,
He
I
can turn
wasn't.
himself
Sorry, I
And
don't have
Shadow
the
was
money.
like,
I could hate all of you.
apparently I'm the resident expert of cats.
And woman.
Uh, all right, that's a little weird.
Okay.
I mean, realistically speaking, not to go on a side tangent, but yeah, like if you're trying to rescue a stray, there probably is a pretty high chance where it would be fine like out in the street. But the second that you bring it into an enclosed environment, it's like, oh shit, I can't run from you. I'm now going to kill you. So that is a
Oh.
possibility.
Wow, that sure is fitting with Connell's alley cat symbolism. Who said that?
Oh my god. All right, well, so let's get right into volumes 3 and 4 then, I think, with that. So volumes 3 and 4 focuses primarily at first. I think the bulk of this week, there was other stuff towards the end of the second volume, but primarily it was all backstory about Aine. Specifically, her, I hesitate to say previous
I
life.
would like to add that you might
Yes.
want to everyone should get used to backstory chapters like this, because it's not just like this is an isolated incident of them kind of cutting away from the story for a while to give a long uninterrupted backstory, and it's more like the story of the Kagerou project is intentionally told non-linearly as a whole.
Right.
Anyways, carry on.
Absolutely. No, yeah, that's very valid to bring up. It's very it's good to focus on for like the different kind of narrative techniques where it's just because they've made it apparent this week that we are in fact in a time loop situation. Very
And
suddenly
absolutely-
and violently made that apparent.
And absolutely do not get used to getting your information in order, because you
So,
will not be
yeah.
getting information in order ever.
So
Yeah,
the Katana
Damn, I gotta
situation,
start paying
okay.
attention to the dates. I'm bad at that.
Actually, no, you don't. The dates super don't matter. They don't. They don't
I
really.
guess they do.
It seemed like there's like two dates, August 14th and August 15th, and we're just gonna repeat those days. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
how
what
the
I got.
fuck is Andy gonna keep that straight?
that's a
Actually,
lot.
in reality, they're repeating the entirety of their lives.
Oh.
We just focus on August 14th and 15th, and we
I
know
see.
that they're repeating the entirety of their lives because there's backstory changes between routes.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
But you know,
Right,
Isn't
yeah,
there
yeah.
like a theory about that or something, or like a
Well,
video
parallel
game
universes.
about that?
A theory of happiness?
a
Shut
theory-
up!
That was perfect. Good job, Anne.
Please see we have.
Oh no! Sorry, I was thinking of
Are you
Kenny
thinking about
McCormick from
chaos
South
theory?
Park, where every single
Game
time that
theory?
he dies, he's reborn from his mother's womb,
I'm sorry,
and
what
then
did you just
rapidly.
Moving
How
on.
did we get here?
Okay, well, the backstory we decided to start focusing on with this is Aine's backstory, who previously up until now we had only really known as the AI virus that's just been taking over Shintaro's electronics and messing with him at times, monitoring him all the time, and trolling him at times, things of that nature. Her actual name is Takane
Enomoto Takane.
Enomoto,
Enomoto
yes. Okay, Enomoto Takane. So we took bits of her name, the ne from Takane and the e from Enomoto, combined that for her gamer tag, because her name, I guess, is part of her. The explanation for her name in the lore of this is that it came from her online handle, which was Ene the something, eternal
Dancing
something.
Flash.
Dancing Flash.
Oh, Dancing
Yeah, the
Flash. That's
Dancing
what it was. Dancing Flash. Which obviously we knew there was going to be some reveal about them playing shooter games, because this was hinted at last week when Shintaro and talked to each other, and one of them mentioned something about playing shooter games. He's like, "What are you talking about? I don't know anything about that." And then we go back to this where she was a high schooler who was in a special class which was just her and one other guy, Haruka. Last name here. What's his last or first name? What's his other name? Haruka.
His Kokonose. His name is Kokonose Haruka.
Kokonose Haruka. So they're both in special class just because they both have some special illnesses with them.
Yeah, it's called main character syndrome.
It's important. Okay, it happens. It happens. So they're in their own class, which feels almost
They have
like its own club as
Ambiguous
well.
anime disease.
And their teacher, who is the same teacher, I believe, that we saw last volumes as well,
Yes,
talking
he
to
is also
Momo.
Momo's teacher because he still teaches the same high school, and his name is Kenjiro. You should remember
Kenjiro.
him.
Yes, Kenjiro. So that's Kenjiro. And they were having their little time. They're trying to prepare for the school festival, trying to do something for their own club. And they ended up trying to make a quote shooting gallery, which they pretty much said we're going to make a video game, and by we mean you, Kinjiro, are going to make this video game. Good luck with all the programming. And then I think
They couldn't do it physically because Kenjiro spent all the budget that was
yes,
supposed to go to their booth on a rare specimen because he's into things like that. And so
yes,
that's why they felt comfortable, just kind of making him do that.
Well,
yeah.
to be fair, it was 40% off.
Hey, listen. Now they're just like, listen, this is going to be one of the prizes we give out, all right, at the shooting gallery. Okay?
The only prize.
The only prize.
But also, I think that I don't know if this is going to become important later, but also the fact that they constantly held like telling the principal above his head. I didn't want to quite bring this up yet, but the two things that I have is I think Kenjiro is probably poisoning the students. That's why they're sick. And number two, the principal probably has something to do with it. And that's why it's like,
Oh.
I got to be like nice and suck up to the principal because the principal, not only is the principal the one signing my paychecks, but it's like he also wants this project to go well. So I have to keep the kids happy in order for whatever I'm trying to do to be accomplished.
Interesting. And it's a theory that I'm sure you came up with, especially towards when we got to seeing Kinjiro in
Yeah.
the situations towards the end where it's
I was like,
science experiment deals. Yeah.
When
I was
Takane
like,
collapsing
he's
from the
in on
poison,
it.
you can see him ominously smiling over top of her body, which is,
Yeah, that was a
and
big
then
thing
he's
for
like
me.
monologuing and stuff, evilly in his lab. Who?
What a
Wonder what's up
normal
with that
man.
guy?
Yeah,
listen,
it's also
God forbid men
it's
have
also
hobbies, okay?
Well, so like not even that. I almost sorry, chap. I know you were trying to get through the summary.
No,
I
you're
just love
good. You're good.
interrupting
You're
you.
good. No,
Um,
you're fine. You're fine.
Honestly, the reason that I caught, and I'm saying this all retroactively, but almost the reason that I caught on to the fact, like, oh, that's not a good person, is the fact that he seemed to know a little too much about Momo's ability. Like in the first volume, he was like, "Oh yeah, you seem to attract a lot of attention. Like, hey, bro, what you got going on with that? Why are you like that into it?" And then the stuff later with the two kids, I was like, oh yeah, no, this man is like pulling some strings in the background.
Andy,
For
that is
sure.
actually a crazy good point because I have read this manga, if we're counting the reread I'm doing right now for this, 3 times, and it never once occurred to me that he gives that monologue at the beginning of like the manga because he knows something more. That makes a lot of sense. I always just kind of thought of it as him being a narrative device to illustrate Momo's problem.
No, he
Makes
knew.
sense.
Sorry. I mean, like, I don't mean to be spoiling or anything. Like I haven't read this, but like, dog, he knew.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
Wow.
He
Wait,
did know.
some of us haven't fucking read this, and
I haven't either.
We
The
know,
thing
yeah,
is,
that's what
I've
makes it
read
funny.
this manga. I've read this manga twice, cover to cover, so I should pick up on things like this, and yet it completely went over my head.
I will say, I had seen the anime before, although I don't remember much of the anime because it's been many, many years since
And
I
the
saw the
anime
anime.
also happens to be the last timeline.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
ever.
as is made abundantly clear for the author notes, apparently everything from this point forward is its own original story for the manga. Is what they made it sound like. How different is it gonna veer off from the others? Is this going to be tremendously different at this point?
It gets really different. The manga
Okay.
especially stands out for being the most like different of the routes, and that's what makes it so unique.
Okay, well that makes it good for me because even if I did happen to remember some parts in the anime, it's not going to apply here. So, which again, I still don't remember much of the anime because again, it's been years. I only remember like a couple scenes, a couple characters. So, but yeah, so it's very cool to see that this is going in its own original direction, so that even if you have experienced one of those other versions before, this might be a new experience. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I just want to say all of Ane's backstory stuff here, from what we're presented, I thought it was nice. I enjoyed their little slice of life ish kind of time together of Ane and Haruka. Ane just obviously having a crush on Haruka and trying to like I'm trying to think of how to describe it. She's like trying to get shit done with the club for like the school festival stuff now, but is also trying to balance not being embarrassed in front of Haruka, I guess. I don't know.
And
if
she's not
embarrassed is the
balancing
right
it
thing.
well.
Yeah, and she's like so nervous about like, oh no, what if he finds out I'm a gamer? Oh no, what if he finds out I'm not just a gamer, but I was like a big gamer? Oh no, what if he finds out I'm not just a big gamer, but for like dude bros like zombie shooter first person game? Oh no, what's he gonna
It's
think of
just like,
this?
wow, NA is so cool.
Yeah,
He's got
it's-
the fucking sparkles in his eyes.
His
Yes,
response is
and
always,
she's
wow,
like,
that's pretty nice, that's pretty cool. He's
what if he finds out about my lame Chunibyo middle school usernames and then he starts using them to call her that in conversation? I think it's really cute. And Takane is sort of, like the tsundere type, but she doesn't go too far with it. And you
Mm.
never get the sense that they don't like being around each other, and they
Yeah.
got like cute moments of just kind of smiling at each other. So it balances out nicely to not feel too overdone,
It's very nice. Yeah, it's very, very nice. I really enjoyed it. And I did also enjoy how they set up the shooter gallery type deal. She's like, you're gonna make the game, and then I'm gonna be the person playing it. Everybody can play me. If anybody beats me, they get the big prize. Nobody's gonna beat me though, because I'm just that fucking good. Okay. So at the end, I might just throw the game. Okay. I might just throw the game so that somebody wins in the end. Okay. I might just do that. And then you get Shintaro showing up at that point. By the way, he's not the only one that we see from our original cast. We see a couple of characters, Kano and Kido as well, I believe, were there. They're all much, much younger. Because this was they looked like they were middle schoolers, and
They looked like
Um,
babies.
Yes, they were so cute. So
Yes.
in this, I would like to point out that I
using
think
her
they
fucking power on the game
Right?
was so funny.
cheating at
I knew.
shooters with your magic. So Takane and Haruka are 15 at the time of this, which makes Shintaro and a certain very special girl who we will be getting to 14 at the time of this, and
Oh,
makes
yes.
Kido and Kano 13.
Oh, okay, all right. So yeah, we got to see little baby versions of our main cast that we saw so far, which is very nice, very cute. I think even the character designers or the author or whatever, like in the authored notes in the back from the various people involved with the projects, were like it was very nice to see them all younger here, especially Mahiro's style, which I do think I really do enjoy Mahiro's style with how we present these characters a lot. I think I've only had and I think a couple people mentioned the issue last week was a couple of us couldn't tell Shintaro apart from Seto for a little bit in some panels. And
Seto has a hair clip that Shintaro doesn't. Blech.
right, I noticed that eventually, so that helps.
Yeah, but we still just couldn't really, like, we saw the differences, but it's still just so minute that we had just been seeing the characters.
Yeah, right.
We didn't know them that well enough.
I was also going to say Haruka, if he was hanging out with them, would also be added to that list for me, probably. Haruka
Yeah,
next to Shintaro
definitely.
or Seto. But it doesn't seem like he's going to be looking like that when he's around them anymore towards the end. So,
What makes you say that?
I don't.
Actually,
Yeah, I don't know.
I can kind of see how you might confuse Seto and Shintaro, but I think Haruka and Shintaro especially have a really distinct look. I went over this in chat, but it's because Haruka has like very fluffy hair and he's got like donut eyes. There's this big like white circle in the middle of his eyes that none of the other characters have.
Oh.
He's very moe in a way that Shintaro absolutely is not.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
okay,
but
okay.
they're all kids with black hair, short black hair.
I
They're all
think
just
Like
short black
they
hair.
all
I think
they all look the same
think
until
that's-
we get to the end.
that is kind of an important thing to bring up though, because I think it's because a lot of manga nowadays trains us to only really tell most characters apart by their hairstyles in many cases. Obviously their outfits too, but in many cases with some characters, if they're like all wearing the same school uniform, the main difference is going to be the hairstyles and or colors. But if it's manga, it's pretty much going to be the hairstyles. So I feel like a lot of like modern anime, it tries to be more distinct, but like some older ones might not be as distinct in terms of like the different hairstyles, especially when it comes to some of the male characters maybe. So
And
that's
also,
probably
especially
a thing with it.
considering for about 90% of Kagepro's runtime, nobody's in school uniforms. There are
Oh,
like
that's true.
portions of the story where people are in school uniforms, but it's not most of the story. And like for the vast majority of it, you don't have to worry about the characters all wearing the same clothes. And even in the parts where they do, there's usually variations. So you
Yeah.
can't tell in the manga, but like Takane and Haruka have differently colored sweaters. Haruka's is green and Takane is yellow. And also, I would like to point out, I said this in chat again, but the characters are all a lot more distinct looking, especially in their faces, when drawn by original character designer Shizu,
Mm,
who is one of the people who you've been seeing in the author's notes. So
Yes.
there are 3 author's notes. There's one from Jean, who writes the story and writes the music. And then there's, hold on just a moment, I'll be right back.
okay, no problem at all. Yeah, so it is
The
very
thing that
nice.
makes
Oh yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
The thing
Okay,
that
I'm
makes
back. Okay.
Shintaro stand out for me is that he has smaller irises than the others.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, he's got those sharp, kind of tired eyes. Anyways, there's like Jean, and he's the author and the like musician, and then there's Wan Yanpu, who designed Mary and Momo, and those were the only characters she designed, and I think maybe an earlier version of Seto's design, and Shizu did everybody else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been trying to remember over time the names of who did what, so it's important to know, and it may even be on a certain quiz towards the end. Oh, who could say?
Oh shit!
Who could say? Who could say? I'll just let you guys know right now. I think one of the first questions I asked on all of these quizzes has been, "Who's the
There's one
author's
the
name?"
author.
So you
There's
know,
one.
keep that in mind. But no, yeah. Jokes about that aside. So Yep. yeah, go on.
Rita, who would you have asked us for every single artist?
Oh my god. Who?
Sorry, this is too funny for me to not say.
That is very funny.
Who drew the iconic "Don't Forget the Heart" panel?
Oh my god. Never forget the heart.
Yeah, we find my boy Will. Anyway.
See, even I just did the put the sticker in the chat and Hajime liked it, so I think that's a sign. You know, I think it's a sign.
He's a yaoi enjoyer, I know.
True, base. But yeah, so I do want to also say, because I'm seeing I'm looking at the background image covers, which is also showing their designs of our two the main 2 new characters that were introduced this week, and we get to see their human side, and then their, I don't know if you would call them supernatural side or whatever, their other side, their experimental side, reborn side, alternate self. Okay, that makes more sense here. So you get to see.
I feel like I should cut in
Yep.
and clarify something before a misconception comes into existence. So
Sure.
Ine and Takane are unambiguously the same person. That is the same girl with all of the same memories and the same sense of self.
Sure.
Haruka and Konoha are not the same person.
Let's not spoil things though. Like, let's not.
Okay, I'm not going to
let
say
us
anything
figure
else
things
on
out
that
on our
matter.
own for now, because we've just
I'm
met
just
Konoha.
saying.
That's
Not the same person.
understandable. Yeah. I kind of assumed that was going to be the case. But yeah, it's fair to say some details like that we may want to wait a bit before we bring up. But you know, it is good to understand. We do at least see and know that Aine has her memory still from before, because we know that because that was this whole backstory was presented to us through her kind of remembering all of these things. And then we're just cutting back to them all hanging out, walking around the streets. Meanwhile, Haruka has he shows back up, very very different now, and he first of all he could see the group. All right.
I would also like to cut in to add something that is not like this isn't canon information.
Sure.
So like you know Konoha well, and you also know that when Konoha showed up in that last volume, he was like he had black hair and stuff, and he looked kind of different.
Yes.
We tend to call that version of him Kuroha as a
Kuroha.
portmanteau of Kuro, the Japanese word for black, and Konoha.
Okay.
This isn't a canon name for him. It's just something the fans devised, and I bring it up
Okay.
because it will make discussion of the manga easier for us in the long run.
Okay, that makes sense, because I was going to bring up, like, it seemed like he had black hair there, and then here on the cover he has white hair, and I did notice that, which is interesting to see. I did want to also
we'll
say...
find out more information about that later.
Yes,
probably
yeah.
in next week's readings. and
Yeah,
such.
yeah. I will say the cover for Volume 4 as well, maybe it's just me, when I looked at the Volume for cover 4, first of all I thought, okay, these characters look cool. Also, I immediately thought, wow, I love Fire Punch. I think her Aine's alt outfit, maybe when it was in color, reminded me of Fire Punch. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the colors of the fire suits from Fire Punch. I don't know. The firefighter outfits. Maybe it's the fact that there's also a gas mask. I don't know. But I mean,
absolutely love her actor design because her
Yeah.
actor design is like a little bit unrepentantly stupid. If you look up a full body reference of it, she's got like leggings on underneath shorts, underneath a wrap skirt, and then she has like a big chunky sweater on over top of it. I don't know, it's such a mess. I love it. I kind of need to cosplay it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it looks really cool. Yeah. Like I said, I do really enjoy a lot of the designs that we have going on for some of these characters. So I'm very interested to see what else we have. We did have some other characters introduced this week, other than these two. We had when Shintaro showed up as a little baby, showed up with someone else named Ayano. Ayano something else. What's the other name?
Tateyama Ayano. Tateyama Ayano.
Okay,
Tateyama.
she
I can spell that in chat for you.
sweet, absolutely. So she showed up with Shintaro, pretty much apologizing for him because he showed up. It was like, at first, Aine was
Being
like,
an asshole.
yeah,
He
I
was
mean,
being an asshole.
they were like, okay, it's the end of the day, Aine, Takane, you have to try to let somebody else win, okay? Let somebody else win. All right, sure. And he sat down. Shintaro sat down next to her, and he's like, you kind of fucking suck at this. You're kind of nothing. All right, you can set it to the highest level. This won't be anything. And now she's like, all right, I'm not gonna fucking throw this game now. All right, it's on.
I'm gonna win.
But
I
he
am
still
not
wins.
losing to this prick.
But he still wins.
And then she does. And then she does.
Prior to them playing, we had already mentioned how she played Kido, and Kido tried to cheat the whole time. But even with the cheating,
And Kido still lost.
Yeah, Kido still lost by 1 point specifically. That's how close it was with that. I was like, oh no, oh no, not the cheating. I don't even know how the cheating works when it comes to the video game stuff. I guess you'd be hiding the pixels on the screen from her or something. But yeah, that was very funny to see.
I think they outline this in the manga. Have they outlined this in the manga already? Basically, the way that Kido's power works is not by literally making things invisible, but by making them
Changing the
harder to
perception of
perceive.
it, yeah.
You're like less inclined to look at them. So she's
Right.
basically making it so Takane fails to perceive the video game enemies.
Right, which I'm assuming Takane either had to compensate for that by just killing as much of the enemies that she was allowed to perceive to keep up with the score, or just blind firing into enemies that she was assuming at that point should be there or not. I don't know. Either way, she was able to just barely win that, which I thought that was very funny, where Kano had to like basically apologize for her on the way out, saying, wow, even cheating, okay, don't worry about that, there was no glitch or whatever, it was fine. your game will be fine. Don't worry about it. It's just whatever. You win. We're gonna head out now. Just had to escort her out, and Shintaro's just he won. And he was just like, all right, I guess I'm done here. Obviously, they were trying to talk about who's gonna do what when the other person wins, and naturally. Ane's like, if you win, I'll become your servant and even call you master and stuff, which, eventually does happen. But yeah, so I knew once he was being a little shit and they started talking about like what's gonna happen when I win or whatever. Just the fact that they had the shooting gallery thing up, I had assumed at some point they would play. I didn't know the context for like if they were just gonna be playing like as part of that or if some other thing later. Like if they had known each other before this as a part of because Anna is apparently very popular in the gaming sphere because of how she was like the second best player or took second place in the championship about this game that she was popular for, and so is very she beat like the first two dudes that came in, or the first dude. I guess the other guy was just watching maybe. And then they were immediately like, wait a minute, we know you're Ane. And then they immediately started like telling everybody about them. And then like everybody started showing up to play her. And now she's like, oh, I can't hide my secret anymore. It's over for me. My high school career is over. You know what? And then eventually she's like, all right, fuck it. Who wants to die next? Line up. Let's get going.
And she starts really leaning into it and calling herself by her handle. It's great.
Yeah, she starts locking in. Yeah, she starts locking in, okay? So, again, like I said, I already kind of liked Aine as a character prior to these volumes, and now with all this added backstory too, I really do enjoy this character a lot. And Haruka, I haven't really known him as anything but like I guess like a caring puppy dog. I guess is how I would describe him. He's always just like, wow, that's really cool, Ade. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah. Yeah, they had a couple emotional moments together because he does still have the physical condition going on, health condition, which may or may not be poisoning.
I don't think you mentioned this, but Haruka's condition is significantly worse than Takane's.
Yes.
So Takane thinks when she collapses from the poison that it is an attack, which implies that she can have attacks. But most of the time, her illness just seems to manifest itself as extreme, unavoidable exhaustion at all times, whereas Haruka is like actively dying and is in the hospital for months at a time and has been for a significant period of his life.
Right. And he's just very good at like hiding the fact that things are going wrong with him, it seems. Like they were just kind of hanging out in summer class at one point, and he finished all his work and he started working or playing games on his laptop, and she was like I guess trying to get his attention by ignoring him and listening to her headphones. And so eventually she was like, wow, this is taking a while. Hey, maybe I should just go or something. I don't know. And then she gets up and she's like, oh, is he asleep? Oh, no. He's not responding. Oh, no. What the fuck? Oh, no.
He's cold as shit.
Yeah, so he had another attack, and so they had to try to call for help.
So, of course, Takane leaves this whole event stewing in self-hatred and then leaves the hospital. Kenjiro got Haruka to the hospital and goes back to the school to get Haruka's stuff and runs into none other than Ayano. And I'm sorry, I'm doing the recap for you. I'll let you keep talking.
No, that's good. Yeah, I mean that's perfectly fine. Yeah, because the
flavor of the voices, but Chef's always the one narrating the summary.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm just going through whatever I remember, and I remember Ayano. Ayano's character pretty much just apologizes for Shintaro being a little young shit, and then eventually, seemingly over the time skip,
about my friend, he's just such a dickhead for no reason.
You should really do something about that, Anne. Like,
Ayano, you have to
listen. Listen.
Ayano, please.
He's loud.
So yeah.
I have two things to say relevant to the plot point that we're at. Number one, I said this in chat because I'm making food and I had to get up. But I think it's really interesting how for some I'm like, how much do I say? Can I say my theories that have reasonable?
Here's where I will caution before we get into any of this. If you're going into theories, regardless of what Andy's theories may be, do not confirm nor deny them. If you know what the answer is, don't confirm or deny them. This goes for everybody in the group.
Don't make any inclination towards
Right,
anything.
Yeah.
Not even confirm or deny. Don't.
Well, the reason that I'm hesitant to go forward is because I have seen Heat-Haze Daze, which is one of the songs relevant, and I think it might say how the girl died. Or in one of the timelines, how the girl died. Anyway, what I was getting at was the fact that it's kind of weird that Shintaro almost seems more closed off before his weird not girlfriend died. And
His
like
weird
now,
not girlfriend
that's
died.
kind of
I love that. I described Ayano like that before.
But like it's just, and that kind of leans into what I was saying about how it's so fucking weird that he's as social as he is when he meets this group of strangers, where it's like he is seen as this kind of like pretentious, self-isolated asshole. Sorry, that's the microwave. And and then all of a sudden, like, his best friend dies, so I assume. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, I'll help you navigate the maze, I'll help you find my sister. That's really fucking weird, okay? That doesn't make sense to me. Sorry. The other thing is that as somebody who went to public school in America, also really fucking weird that they were just left unattended in a school for summer school. That cannot be normal. There has to have been some weird thing maybe it's normal in Japan where like if you're going to summer school, like you're less likely to have a teacher in the classroom with you, but they were like fully unattended in that classroom for summer school.
That I just assume was just because Kinjiro or his name's Kinjiro, right? I'm not getting that wrong. Kenjiro. That one I was just assuming he was just like, they're fine, or he was doing something sketchy, yeah.
Doing something. That was like the only thing that I could think of. I was like, dog, like there is no reason where if these people are like in middle school or high school or whatever that they should be left where you can't shout and have an adult come running. I'm sorry. But anyway, that's all I had to really say about that.
In fairness, an adult did in fact come running.
A little too late though. Like,
listen.
Put that a little bit more urgency.
Listen. Haruka, he was fine, right? They brought him there, and supposedly they were like, he was able to save his life. Go. Let me just go get his stuff, and then we got to everything else that was revealed to us afterwards. But it's I understand. I just saw those scenes where they were just alone together, often just in the classroom hanging out, where I'm just like thinking along the same lines. I understand they're supposed to be in a special class just because they have the medical issues. It feels a bit much to have an entire special class just for exactly 2 students, but I understand there's more going on due to the teacher, so yeah.
The fact that you have a class specifically for 2 students with severe medical issues mean you should have more people monitoring them.
That is true. That is true. At least a life alert, Something.
Help, I fell in and I can't get out.
I'm just saying, it did remind me of I've only really consumed Higurashi from like a bit of the anime years and years ago, and I think I remember that one also having a situation where there's only a few kids in the class, but I think that was because there was only a few kids in the village. I think
there's only a few kids in all of Hinamizawa.
It's
a very small community.
Because other than that kind of context, I'm just like, there can't be any other real reason to have a classroom of 2 unless we are also doing a weird experiment on them, which obviously I came to that conclusion more so once I saw them doing the weird experiments on them. So I'm like, oh, that makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. This is like some weird, we gotta monitor our test subjects alone kind of thing. That's where I kind of.
Test subjects a life alert.
It's okay. They were monitoring them
Or
the
direct
whole
them to
time
the
with the
forehead.
cameras. Yeah. But yeah,
Actually,
Yeah, when
Yeah,
those
I
kids die, it will be witnessed.
you
They won't do anything, but it will be caught on camera.
Someone will see it, if nothing else.
know. What were you gonna say, Shadow?
So in my experience with schools, actually, back in 12th grade, we had multiple times where we were just left unattended for like significant amount of time. It was
Okay, but
ridiculous.
that's
That'd be one
bad.
thing if it's a whole
That's not
class.
good.
It's not great, but it's like that's one thing. If you're leaving like 2 students alone that are supposedly also medical risks,
Like,
which is
I-
why they're
I
alone.
I don't want to compare it to this because fundamentally it's different, but like the American parallel would be if you had a special education class, so students that are at high risk for bodily harm, and you just said, yeah, the teachers can just like fuck off and do whatever. Like that leaves the kids in danger.
Yeah.
That's putting them in danger.
Yeah.
So-
We did have special ed kids in my class, actually. We had
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
have a lot
Yeah,
of times they
thankfully
have
the American
chaperones.
school system has never put anyone in danger.
Neither has the Canadian school system either.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like,
I
so,
can
so
think of
that's
no example. Sorry,
that's-
yeah.
you have to understand, like, that's the parallels that I'm thinking, like, completely ignoring the fact that their teacher is a fucking asshole, okay? That's a completely other scenario. I'm looking at this, like, if there were ever a situation where there were 2 medically at-risk kids left unattended, there would be lawyers up the fucking wazoo in that school.
Well, then do I have a school to sue then?
Oh,
Well, it
boy.
sounds like they've kind of disappeared the kids, so
Well,
they
what
can
kids?
just
What are you
pretend
talking
they
I would
ran
also
off.
say,
What
I
kids?
would
What are you
I'd
talking
like
about?
to-
say,
I'd also
My-
like to posit we haven't seen their parents. Maybe
That is true.
They can't be disappeared if they're not legal citizens.
I did want to bring that up
Mhm.
because I was like, I didn't remember them ever mentioning like
yeah, they're gonna
where
get
they
taken by
live.
ICE.
I don't remember us ever actually seeing where they lived or like where they were
Mhm.
sleeping or whatever. I think we'd only seen scenes of them in the school, which had made me
No,
a little curious.
They live
We
True,
see-
true.
We see Shintaro and Momo's
actually,
like,
wait.
house.
I'd like to point
Ah.
out something.
Yes.
So when Takane and Kenjiro are in the hospital waiting room, I can say this because it's already come up in the volume, so it's free game.
Sure.
Kenjiro offhandedly mentions something about when Haruka's family shows up, something, 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 implying he does have a family there to worry about him. They just
Okay.
haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, yeah, because that is interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
'cause-
also he's the evil scientist. Of course he'd say that to assuage her into having a false sense of security.
hey, that's just your opinion, man.
Listen,
I think Kenjiro
hold
is the
on.
world's
Oh my
normalist
God.
man, and I
Yeah.
don't know where these accusations are coming from.
you wake up in a laboratory one time and then suddenly the guy's evil. I don't understand what the problem is. And you're trapped
Like,
in this
I
computer,
asked
and
him
suddenly
for the robot body. It's not his fault.
I listen.
Look,
I'm just saying, you know, getting moved into the digital world. All right, you know, maybe it seems pretty cool. I don't know. I don't. You know, I don't know.
It does seem
He's chilling,
safer at this
honestly.
point.
Yeah, for real.
Listen,
Sorry,
for all
listen,
I
we had
think-
read this.
I think that
Gosh, we would have been
and-
talking about a guy like this.
I
Listen.
think it's
Yeah. Yeah.
We've been having the same conversation.
What? No, he's
Anyway.
trustworthy. He's got air conditioning in his car.
to make no direct commentary on it, or at least not commentary that's too revealing. I find it very interesting that Andy immediately pins like the school management as malicious. Again, I'm not like going
Again-
either way with that commentary. I'm just saying something.
right,
about it.
yeah.
All right,
it's,
cool.
yeah.
We're gonna bring up reading lenses once again. I grew up in public school America in a conservative town as a queer student. Okay, I have very interesting experiences with the school system. Okay,
Sure.
and I am definitely reading this through that lens. My mom is a school teacher. She was also a sped teacher. a lot, I have my brother is sped, my cousins were sped, so I'm also very aware of what students that are medically at risk go through in the public education system.
Right.
So it's the kind of thing where that's because that's what I have experience with, that is what I am latching onto in this situation.
Right.
I think this is actually sort of a good reading to look at Kagerou through in a sense. An automatic distrust of authority might lend itself well to the themes of Kagerou later down the line. So hold
Is
on
there
to that.
ever a book where trusting authority is a good thing?
In Kagerou? No, I don't think so.
Arguably
No,
Higurashi, kind of. Some.
We haven't gotten there yet. Don't
Okay,
worry.
okay,
Don't
okay.
worry.
No,
Yeah.
I'm listening.
In an incredibly specific instance and series of circumstances, the
Okay,
authorities
alright.
in Higurashi can be manipulated to be trusted.
Oh, there's a lot of steps involved with that to make it trusted. I don't know.
You have
Okay,
no
alright.
fucking
All of-
idea, man.
Okay, all right, sweet. I can't wait to finally read Higurashi. Anyways, I will say it is very interesting how much we are focusing on the events that happen through the lens of the school administration system and like the school in general, how it's handling these two students. Because, if I wasn't reading this as part of book club, I would just be like ignoring a lot of these factors and just be like, all right, it's just the story just happens to happen in a school. And just kind of move on from it. It is interesting that we're focusing on this kind of stuff because, at times I do wonder if maybe we're just focusing too much on a certain thing and it has nothing to do with it. It was just a thing to sign up for the story. But no, some of these elements do make more sense once you understand the other things later on, especially with this one where it seems like they were being used for weird experiments by this teacher or whatever. Like, once you have that kind of context added onto it, a lot more stuff about any weirdnesses that were going on with the school stuff make more sense, I guess, in a way. So I think it's very interesting that we focused on that here. So yeah, I just wanted to say this is very interesting observation because again, I totally would have just ignored a lot of that if I was reading it by myself years ago, probably. If I was just doing that, I would just ignore all that and just be like, okay, when should the funny girl get in the computer? When did she become the funny virus? That's how I would read it.
Well, and I'm sure there are also a ton of other things that I'm missing because that is the lens that I'm reading this through. Like I mentioned with the caricatures of these characters. What a tongue twister. Like the fact that maybe there's a lot of I don't want to speak this into existence or something, but maybe there is a lot of depth in Shintaro's character, like how these characters are presented, and it's just I've never lived that experience before. So I'm not necessarily seeing it in the same way that somebody who has lived that experience would. Because to me, I think this goes back to what I was saying with how Shintaro's characterization almost seems illogical to me. The fact that he went from being a shut-in or went from being an asshole and now almost seems more empathetic. That's almost like the opposite that you would think of what would happen when somebody loses a good friend, right? Which is the assumption that I'm running on based on context clues, right?
Yeah.
So then
That's
it's
a very,
okay,
very interesting thing for you to say. I'm not going to say
But
anything
then-
else because I'm
Okay.
staying
It's
my
like-
hand. I'm just saying
Okay,
that's
okay.
interesting.
Okay.
Hold on to that
But it-
impression. I want you to hold
Okay.
on to
It's
that
like-
impression, Andy.
Okay.
But then it's what if there are people out there who, after experiencing grief, do become more kind-hearted? I'm sure people like that do exist. That just didn't happen for me. So that's not how I'm perceiving his character. I'm perceiving his character as nonsensical because I've never experienced that before.
A lot of how people hold on to a traumatic experience has to do with the level of community or level of communal support that they are given in order to process it.
Yeah.
And
fair.
Shintaro is
Yeah, true.
he's not completely
He just is.
isolated.
He just
Yeah, he
looks-
just is.
I think I might have passingly said, a year of Takane does wonders for the psyche in the chat. He has had one person to rely on, and that is better than nothing, and very
Yeah.
important for him.
And it is someone who has not just
has a similar history to him, and honestly a very similar personality, which Takane herself admits to in the
Oh,
middle of the
yeah.
volume. Like,
No,
this is a scene.
I was gonna say, like, it wasn't, it's not just the support, it is the challenge that I think has a
Exactly.
lot to do with how Shintaro has ended up at the point that we meet him initially.
So, like, there's a scene that I don't think Chap went over in very much detail where after Takane gets back to the school to go get Haruka's stuff, but before she collapses from the
Talks
poison,
with the Ayano,
she
yep.
bumps in to Ayano. And Ayano, like, realizes that she's decided to not tell Haruka that she loves him because she thinks, like, the whole almost dying from an attack thing is her fault because she
Yep.
was, you know, zoning out and trying to get his attention, and it held off the whole helping him stuff. Anyways, and she sort of tells her off about it a bit and says that she needs to go, like, fess up and tell Haruka her feelings before it's too late. And this, like, motivates Takane to go do that. And she would have, hold on just a moment. I'll be right.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, because I did remember that scene, and I was like, oh, we got to talk about this at some point. Partially, obviously, because of the whole Haruka confession. Like, you know, you have to speak your mind about your truth about it now. Like, you might be blaming yourself about what happened with him now, but you're gonna regret it more if you never actually speak up about it before something like that happens, and you never get a chance to speak to him again about it. So you really do have to speak to him about it or whatever. I did want to also.
And
Yep.
that's
Go
a
on.
very important part of the conversation, but I brought this up to highlight the second half of it,
Yes.
in which Takane kind of spins it back on her and points out that Ayano herself seems to have feelings for Shintaro. And Ayano says that she can't do the same as Takane because Ayano thinks that she wouldn't be right for Shintaro because Shintaro needs someone who can push him and who can be, I think she might have said, more self-centered and egotistical than he is.
Yes.
Because if you don't push Shintaro, then he becomes stagnant and miserable. And Takane really holds on to that, I think. And that, to perhaps say a bit too much, I think that colors her relationship with Shintaro in the future. That conversation she had with Ayano.
Yeah, I remember specifically in that, I believe it was in that, at that scene, where she's thinking to herself, like, that guy, he's so, like, self-centered, he's so, like, egotistical, he's so whatever. He's like, wait a minute, that's fucking me. That's fucking me. Wait a minute, that's fucking me. I just described myself.
He just like me.
He just like me, for real, for real.
That fucking asshole, that's me.
So basically what I'm getting at here is that I think the reason Shintaro comes out of his years of isolation so different is in part because of the very specific character development he got from being around Ine so much, and another thing that I can't talk about yet.
Okay. Yeah. It, like I said, so much about Ine's background story. I think I really, really enjoyed moments like that. Were like very nice, like little.
Can I
developments.
say my favorite one? I had to
Sure.
have my headphones off for a little teeny tiny bit while I was making food, so I'm sorry if you maybe had touched on this.
Yes.
But I really, really like the fact that Shintaro ended up getting his bet winnings. And he doesn't know it, but Ine does.
Yeah, I bet you do, you freak.
Oh my god.
But it's just, it's something that unfortunately I wish somebody would like slap me in the face and tell me whether or not Ine realizes it and is like drawing the connections and like knows. Like, I'm sure that she does because it's pretty heavily hinted that she does like remember this and just isn't telling Shintaro. But I'm like, there's a small part of me where I'm like, oh, it all came full circle. This is so good. And I really like that.
I believe there is a point somewhere near the end of the volumes where she does say that she does like very directly state that she remembers all of the things that have happened to her and is keeping them. She says like it's not the right time to tell
not the right time to tell him.
It might be safe for me to say then that she does know who Shintaro is, and I think I sort of implied that anyways by saying that I thought her conversation with Ayano influences the way she treats and views Shintaro right now. But you might notice that Shintaro does not seem to have any inkling about Ine. So this is not a vice versa situation. And you might just think he's clueless for that because even though she has changed form in the anime, Takane and Ine do have the same voice and assumedly would have the same face. And you might be
Different color
wondering
palette,
why
apparently,
Shintaro
but
different color palette, but you might be wondering how Shintaro has somehow not managed to pick up on any of this, especially considering he even played against like Takane when she went by the screen name of Ine.
No, I
Strange.
don't really wonder that because he's
I
just a
don't either.
dumb boy.
I can see this dumb boy.
Dumb child,
Listen.
and also like as readers,
Okay, well-
we're able to look at it objectively and be able to draw those conclusions. He doesn't fucking know these things are related. He has no idea.
Listen.
Why in his like his vaguest sense of
Also,
mind?
In his defense, he is stupid.
Well, also, I don't even think it's just a he's stupid thing. I don't know if I like. This is like a virus that from his view, this is a virus I've downloaded years ago, and it's just kind of stuck around.
100%.
I don't know if this would be the
is-
girl I played video games with years ago, if he even
Well,
does
that's
still remember that incident.
That's
I don't.
true.
But
No,
it's,
100%.
it's
What
also
I'm
not just
getting at
that.
here-
It was literally he met her one day,
Yeah,
and that was
right.
it. For like,
And-
10
and he-
minutes.
and
Don't
he-
they kind of imply that they knew each other more so afterwards? Because when Takane talks to Ayano
Yeah.
in the hallway, she
That's
mentions Shintaro being with Ayano frequently, and she like addresses Ayano as her friend, meaning they've seen each other multiple times and went to the same high school.
My
So-
my assumption
you
with
don't
with
tell
lines
it's
like
more
that.
like it felt more like it was that her and Ayano were friends,
Yeah.
and that they didn't.
That is
like,
very much how it's presented, yeah. It's
Yeah,
like-
Takane and
okay, they
Ayano
may
being...
have seen each other in the hallway, sure,
Sure,
but like
yeah.
this is not. To me, it did not at all seem like they were friends.
Right.
That's
Also,
true, and they weren't
Shintaro-
really. But what I'm getting at
Shintaro-
here is that the fact that he doesn't recognize her at all might not be the weirdest thing in the world,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it
yeah.
might ping you as kind of strange if you think about it for
My-
too long, because
so-
Takane's voice is the same, and I am pointing this out
Sure,
because it's interesting for Shintaro's character that
sure, yeah.
doesn't make the connections.
But
I don't
also,
think
like, he was
Shintaro-
a
I don't think Shintaro thinks about the past quite a lot, at least
Sure,
not
yeah,
in
yeah.
detail, but he does
Sure.
do in regrets.
Sure.
I'm
That's
gonna
how
say one thing that's gonna make everyone else laugh.
What's that?
Battler.
What is your sin,
Yeah.
Shintaro?
Remember your
It's
sin,
your sin,
Shintaro.
Shintaro.
It all comes back to
And
Umineko,
that's why
apparently.
I'm not and that's why I have no concerns with him not recognizing her.
All right, listen. Andy, you were gonna say something. I think you've been trying to say something.
Oh, I was just saying, like, the whole thing about that stage of his life is that he's a fucking asshole. It's very obvious, I feel like, that he cared about Momo almost negligibly, as, like, now, and Ayano was the only person he cared about, and so I wouldn't put it past him
Hey,
to...
that's not true. He cared about his sister. I'm sure he cared about his
No,
sister. Look at that.
I don't think he did.
Damn.
Or at least less.
You might want to wait until like volume 9 before you say that.
Or
Wait until
at
volume
least
9.
less than he cared about Ayano. But the point that I'm getting at here is that he was a dick, and he probably did not give a shit about Takane. Okay, like you know, there are people out there that I don't like, and they sometimes show up in my dreams because I saw their face once or whatever. But
Yeah.
if he really did not care about or cared about people that as little as I think he did, Takane, that experience with Takane, or any experience with Takane, it's like, oh yeah, that's a girl that goes to my school. Why would he remember her? He has no reason to. Even
Yeah.
Takane and Ayano were friends.
I will add on to that by saying that scene where he's just playing games with her in that room, like he's treating her like, oh, this is just another fucking scrub that I gotta beat at video games again. Like he in my mind,
He's
that
looking
dude,
past her.
yeah, in my mind, that dude
Yeah,
forgot about that
yeah.
interaction the moment he left the room,
Yeah,
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
and
Not
Ayano's
to
just
vague post.
apologizing.
dumb boy.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
Not to vague post on you guys, but I
Sure.
am staying my blade so much
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, like I said, you know, I have a couple assumptions for what may or may not also have happened. I do not want confirmations nor denials, nothing about this. My assumption is not only just that he could have easily just ignored all of it as just a nothing event. My assumption is also just that a traumatic event probably also happened to Shintaro at some point, and he just repressed a lot of older memories too. That's something I'm also thinking of too. But that's it's fine. It's fine. I understand. Yeah, this is my assumption with this kind of stuff, because the fact that and the reason why I bring this up is just because in the past volumes last week, and there was the comment about playing shooters together, and I couldn't remember how he had worded it, and I didn't go back to check it out. I didn't know if he had said like he hadn't played shooters before, or if he had said he doesn't remember playing shooters with her before. So I couldn't tell which it was, because I feel like if he did remember playing shooters back then, he would have maybe just ignored that comment offhand. But I don't know. So this is why I make these kind of assumptions. But yeah,
I believe the comment specifically was that he doesn't remember ever having played a shooter with her, like that
Right.
she would know of.
Right.
That she would have seen.
He doesn't see that.
But I don't think you're off for like questioning Shintaro's memory. That is what I'm trying to get at here, that there's like Shintaro has an interesting relationship with his past.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get more into it with the later volumes for exactly what's happening. Like we said, this week was focusing on a lot of Anne's past. We're going to be going into the backstories of all these other characters, I'm sure, in the later volumes, in some way, shape, or form. So I'm sure Shintaro will be there, and we'll be able to figure out what was going on that side of things. So I'm very interested in that. But yeah, that was a lot of focus on a lot of the Ane Haruka stuff, and then they're waking up in like the Kinjiro experiment lab. Fucking, she is in the computer, and he is in
like a test tube.
Like a test tube.
I would also like to point out that Takane's body is also in the room.
Yes, I did.
Her body is in the lab.
It was like wired up in the
consciousness. Her consciousness is not in it anymore.
And it looked almost like she was being deleted, and then she kind of woke up in the internet, I guess. And then she was just roaming around. These are my assumptions for what happened again.
The World Wide Web.
And she's like, all right, well, I guess I got to find a place to live now. Oh, I forgot to also mention, though, she had a weird interaction with a snake briefly, which we don't need to elaborate any more details about what's going on with the snake, because I'm sure we'll find out more about that in the future. But it said some I think vague cryptic shit to them at first, and then they left to figure things out.
I do just want to say I really love how that moment looks visually.
Yeah,
so cool.
The
I
little
love it.
like
the slight blur.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
Yeah, everything's all inverted.
Background.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very, very cool.
So I'm not going to say something that is explicitly like revealing, but I am going to say that a statement somebody made was true. Is that okay? It's something you've already heard someone say.
So I would refrain from doing things like that, because it's more validating to learn about these things later.
Okay.
So refrain from doing that. I appreciate you wanting to like confirm some of these things, but it's better for us if we learn these things ourselves in like one of the later volumes, and we can discuss about it then at that point. So there's no need to like I said, there's no need to confirm or deny these things.
Wasn't trying to ruin the fan theory fun here. I was just going to make one reference to a specific statement.
No, I understand. Here's what I will tell you when it comes to this kind of stuff. When it comes to the book club, and I understand you're new to the book club, so I understand this. The way that we kind of do this is some of us will be coming with wild theories. Sometimes these theories are wildly incorrect. Sometimes these theories are wildly correct, and we have no actual evidence or basis for it, but it is somehow correct. Sometimes these things, sometimes we're just joking or whatever. In all these cases, we should just let it fly. if there's evidence within the volumes we read that might disprove something that of a theory, perhaps it could be brought up or whatever. But for the most part, about future things, this is why I say I would, not to confirm or deny some of these things, because it's better in the long term. Both for us as the people consuming it the first time, and then for like other people who might be listening who are also consuming it for the first time or whatever. So it's better for us to kind of be in the dark about some of these things. And I
I
understand.
wasn't thinking of saying what I was saying to either
No, I know
confirm or deny any fan theories or anything anyone
Sure.
had said, just so we're
Yeah,
clear.
yeah.
I get all this.
No, I understand that. Yeah, I just want to make this clear. Just in general with this kind of stuff, because I know you and a couple other people here know about the series already, and I know that there are differences between this and like other iterations of the story as well. I don't know what is safe to go into for the differences with these iterations or whatever without spoiling things that might happen later and things like that. What I'm trying to say is with stuff like this series, it might get a little complicated when it comes to what things you should and shouldn't mention with this stuff. So I would just caution.
Exactly.
I would just caution with this stuff where it's like, if you're not sure if it's safe to say it, probably the easiest thing to do is to just wait and see what happens with us. Because especially where most of us have not consumed this before, this is our first time doing it, you get to kick back in your chair and be like, oh, let's see if they figure this out. Oh, I'm
And
excited
watch the
to
live
see.
blog. The Kagerou
Yeah,
Project
yeah.
Discord server has very squishy rules about what has to be exclusively in the spoilers channel, because the concept of what is a spoiler in Kagepro is so vague. Because, okay, something that is important to know about this series is that I could explain the logistics of it at you for like 2 hours and it would not matter, because it isn't about the logistics or the specifics of how the time loop functions or what day things happen on. It's about the characters, and you mustn't let the logistics blind you to it. And a lot of the things that classify as spoilers, though not all of them, are in fact the logistics. Unless you're talking about novel spoilers, which are all insane and I can't mention it all.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, so let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, I want to talk about.
I want to mention.
Oh, yeah, what's up?
So as a person who back in the day played a lot of like 1v1 online games, if the person is like much worse than you, it isn't particularly interesting as a person. You'll forget them right away.
Damn. I did also want to comment on this related to ANA's look. So we had her regular self, and then the teacher had designed a version of her, or actually it might have been Haruko designed a version of her for the game, which is basically just
Haruka, because Haruka's the artist.
Yes.
The artist.
And it was just her, but like slightly changed. But they didn't even change the color palette at first, I don't think. And she's like, at least change the color palette, and then they did. When
Yeah,
she
you could copy my homework, just change it a bit.
when she's digitized, does she look exactly like that character now, or is she slightly different from that character now? The video game character.
So like there's talk on it, and then they made the design that is what we see as the headphone actor design, which is on the cover of Volume 4.
Sure.
And then that design was palette swapped into something blue, and Ine looks a little bit different from that. So like there's actor, and the actor at the end of the game is like that same character design, just with Ine's colors, and Ine herself has like a different jacket. I'll show you some example photos.
Sure.
Yeah,
because that is a good point, because I know she's supposed to be more blue design, but the cover here has her, like I had mentioned before, it kind of reminds me of the Fire Force kind of outfits or whatever, but it's yeah. So so that is a good point to bring up. So the differences in the designs over time. So the version of her that we had known prior was the blue kind of Hatsune Miku-esque version, and now these other versions are like the video game boss version, and then her schoolgirl version. So it's interesting. Yeah, because like I said, it's something I want to bring up as well, because it's harder to kind of notice some of these distinct changes when it's the manga versus like an anime or whatever, because this is not in color. So if supposedly her color palette has now changed, I'm not really gonna know as easily. I can notice some other details like the little mechanical stuff that's on her cheeks being there now and stuff like that, but you don't immediately notice that now she's blue. I remember this as well because Shintaro, when we go back to him at some point, somebody had mentioned, oh, that's Red Jacket over here or whatever. They mentioned the fact that he's wearing a red jacket, and I was like, oh yeah, he does wear a red jacket, doesn't he? Oh yeah, he's supposed to be wearing red, huh? That's supposed to be distinct from him, huh?
That's really funny because the concept of Shintaro not being like intrinsically tied to the color red is a bit funny to me because
Yeah.
I think they've already kind of made this a bit clear. In the Kagerou project, the color red is a really symbolically significant color that comes up like a lot, and when they use their powers, their eyes turn red. It's a whole thing. Kagerou even had an entire like song literally just called Red, and so Shintaro's jersey being red is something that I think about a lot, and so I don't know, surprising.
Which could mean nothing.
Yeah.
We don't really see the symbolism of the color red because the pages are black and white.
I guess
Yeah.
you don't know
Yeah,
this.
sorry, we're Americans. We don't see color.
That's true.
So
that's true.
you guys all
Americans,
Sorry, I'm
back then.
colorblind.
you guys all
actually.
know who Miss Tateyama Ayano is now. You know Ayano. You've
Yep.
met her. She was the girl who came to Shintaro at the festival. Her scarf that she's wearing, even though, her scarf, it's red, by the way, as you can see
Okay.
in my profile picture. If you're looking at the
Yeah.
Discord chat right now.
Yeah, I did remember
As all
that
of her
about her from the anime. I think I'd seen a picture of Ayano and seen that she wears a red scarf or whatever, and I many of these things again, because we are consuming experiencing all these characters for the first time with the manga, even though the manga is not the intended first way to experience the series or whatever, or it's kind of assumed in some ways that you've consumed other aspects of it prior.
Just the songs. They only really expect you to know the songs.
Yeah. For us, we only really get a sense of the colors with the covers, and then sometimes there's a couple colored pages at the beginning. That's pretty much the only times where we get to understand that. Other times we get somebody mentioning offhand in a comment, which I think also came up when we were when we were reading Bloom Into You, where Ari one week just shows up her fucking hair.
Oh, God.
Like Sayaki's hair. Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
mean Sayaki isn't blonde?
I had
I'm still
absolutely
convinced
thought she was
she's
blonde the
blonde,
whole
sorry.
time.
Hey, but half of us thought she was blonde.
Yeah.
In my
We
truth,
thought she
she's
was
blonde.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I think
And then Anne and Iron are like, no, you're stupid.
Well,
Which
there's
that
Damn.
but also, she should
Yeah,
have
that
blonde.
sounds like me.
I can see how this situation might come about, and I understand how it's necessary because you guys are a manga focused book club, so of course you're
Yeah.
going to start with the manga.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
also find it a little bit sad because Kagepro is a really visually strong series thanks to Shizu. I think the aesthetics of it are a big part of the appeal, especially in the music videos. And without the color aspect, you lose a lot of that because its usage of color is so very emphasized, especially where colors like red and blue are concerned.
Right.
That might be part of why they include the colored panels in the beginning.
Sure.
Well, color
Yeah.
panels in the beginning are standard for every manga ever.
For some, if they can afford it, because sometimes it depends on what they're planning to print and not, and all that kind
True.
of stuff. So sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it depends on various factors, but it is very important for that kind of stuff to help us see that kind of symbolism, because otherwise, for the most part, that kind of gets lost in a lot of this, unless there's some series that emphasize these things by including colors only for specific pages in the middle of the volume, which there's been a couple cases in the past that I've experienced. If you're experiencing Umineko and Umineko's got the red text, but you're reading it and it does not have the red text, it makes it kind of the fact that the text is red, I think,
We're
is
just saying stuff.
Hey, remember now.
these things are done like that. If we were given Umineko and told this is red text, but like it's never actually read for us, it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's red, sure, things like that. This isn't like a big thing to criticize this about. This is just a thing I did want to bring up because it is important to realize what the difference in mediums with that. If you are doing a series that is doing an adaptation of a previous series that does have these symbolic things, especially with the designs of the characters, some of that's going to get lost in the translation with certain mediums, such as this, where all the colors are taken out or whatever. It's a thing to keep in mind. It's not a huge deal breaker when it comes to this, but it's probably very important to a lot of Kagepro fans, I imagine, because, as you were saying earlier, it's a huge symbolic thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is a rare case of Kagepro actually being kind of held back by its medium, which is weird because a big part of the appeal is that it spreads so many mediums and tells its story in such a creative way as a result. But sometimes you got to make cuts. And
yeah,
I
it's
know
like
you haven't
this
got to
webcomic.
right? I know you haven't gotten to the you're talking about Homestuck. You're talking about Homestuck. Okay,
oh my
great.
god.
Hilarious. Anyways, so I know you haven't gotten to the anime yet.
References.
But once you do get to the anime, you will find that it's very cheaply animated, and this is not a diss at the anime, by the way. I actually am part of the minority who really likes it, but it's a thing where they just couldn't pour a lot of money into a project like Kagepro for the Kagepro anime, so it doesn't always look very good, and it's just things like that, and the songs are generally agreed upon to be the heart of the project, and yet if you only listen to the songs, you'll come out kind of confused on the specifics because, you can't tell specific plot details. You just get general impressions of characters and some events. That's why it's so important that Kagepro does span so many mediums, because it takes advantage of all of them and yet is also harmed by all of them.
It's very complicated, yeah. And I'm trying to think if there's any other series that we've talked about in book club before that was also a mixed media kind of project. I know we've had, quite a few that
Umineko.
Umineko, yeah. Is that considered mixed media?
No.
the mixed media being visual novel, manga, and anime, which we don't talk about the anime.
we talk about the anime.
What are you talking about? The anime is the best part.
Yeah, anime is the best part.
Listen.
No more Umineko talk the rest of the time.
Do Umineko have Vocaloid songs?
Reference.
I got Blue Actor. You guys, I put Blue Actor in the chat. This is Blue Actor. This is the boss.
Oh
from
my
the
god.
video game.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, we're okay. Yeah, it's very
Poor Spaghetti.
Baguetti's just shouting, "Dot hack, the king of mixed media." Oh boy.
He said book club manga, not
Mm.
random manga, Spaghetti. You got to actually put forth it for book club, Spaghetti.
Ooh. We got to read Dot hack next. How many Dot hack mangas are there? There's probably a lot.
A lot. They're all like different, kind of
Each different
series.
Game. Okay. All right. Dot hack aside. ANA and Haruka story aside. Let's talk about jumping back to our.
Right. Go on. There's one thing I like to mention.
Okay.
Okay. When NA's getting digitized, this line gets dropped in. I'm like, God damn it! Too soon.
Now I can open the next Kagerou Daze. I saw that. I laughed just because of the title drop in that moment. But I understand we don't know what the context of that means, and but I just think it's very funny. I'm gonna show this panel on the stream too because it's just out of context, kind of funny.
So utterly
with context, it's funny.
I mean, yeah.
I am so utterly soaked in this series that when this came up, I didn't even think about it because I was like, yeah, I know what the Kagerou Daze is. I have spent way more hours of my life thinking about the Kagerou Daze than I probably should have. But it did kind of occur to me, man, I wonder how this sounds to the people who are reading this for the first time.
This is the first time we've heard the term in the story like that, and it's just very funny because we're like, oh shit, that's the title. They said the thing. But he's like saying it. he's saying the title during his like evil reveal. He's like, finally, it's time. The Kagerou Daze. Oh my
And then
god,
he
they
Kagerou
said it.
Daze.
Glasses up
And
bridge
then
of
he
nose.
Kagerou Dazed all over those guys.
Oh
He
my
Kagerou
god.
Dazed.
And he's beginning to morph.
Whoa, no. Whoa, no. Whoa.
Oh my god.
But, like, the thing
Uh,
is, you're going to hear the term Kagerou Daze
Yeah, I'm
so
sure,
much
I'm
that
sure,
it's
yeah.
just going to become,
sure.
like,
Yeah,
a part
absolutely.
of your brain forever.
I'm ready for it.
That's the
So
Steins Gate scenario. Okay.
Steins Gate. This is the choice of Steins Gate. That's true. Let's jump.
Also, wait, hold on. I'd
Yeah,
like to mention.
okay, what do you got?
Nagara, I've spent over 500 hours thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Spirit Color. Okay, there's no incorrect amount of time to think about something.
Is that true? Okay, well, that sounds like a lot of time
I
to
think
think
it
about
depends on the thing.
Wait till you hear about how much I think about Herbie.
No, that's no point. That's no point.
What's your
Proving
current
my
status
point.
on here? Herbie is my coping mechanism. That's your current status on Discord. And then your
Yeah,
banner
we
is
spin around in a
your
circle
banner
and
is a drifting Kirby, not Kirby.
Sorry,
Herbie.
it does
Herbie.
cut off for me as Herbie is my coping mech.
My favorite mech, Herbie.
That too.
Yeah.
Okay, no, tell us, Andy. How long? Come on, give it to us.
I don't know, how old am I? 23? When did Fully Loaded come out? 2005, so 20 years?
Sweet.
That's fine. That's fine. There's no
That's a
problem.
normal
All
amount.
right, cool.
That's normal.
Let's
That's really
let's
awesome.
let's
I really
Pretty
wish,
cool.
like, I really, really, really wish I had been around for both the super early days and the golden age of the Kagerou project instead of being 4 years old.
Mm.
That would have been really cool. Unfortunately, I was too busy being 4.
Happens.
That's
It
really
happens to the
fucked
best
up,
of us.
actually.
Happens to the
That's
best
all
of
of
us.
Have it to me.
You know? So let's jump to back to pretty much the end bits of Volume 4, where we jump back to our group at continuing their story. Now that we've jumped out of Anne's backstory stuff, we go back to the group. They are hanging out, walking down the street, and thinking that they're hidden because they're hanging out with Keto, but then there's somebody across the street just kind of looking at them. They're like, hey, I think that guy's looking at us. No, that can't be happening. It must just be a coincidence. I think he's coming over to us. Oh,
I already forgot this happened.
I think he's coming over to us. And then he's like, hey, how's it going? And then he pulls out a fucking gun and shoots
kills them.
Kano immediately. Several other people are shot. Even takes the phone from Shintaro and crushes it, crushing Ene on the screen. Fucking kills our whole cast as far as I can tell, and then we just jump back, and that's where I'm just like, okay, all right. So when we say this is time loop, this is a very sudden time loop. All right, well,
You did not need
got
to
that
do all that.
Hirabizawa syndrome in you.
Umineko really.
Last time,
Yep.
He's got to get rid of the
During-
maggots.
during the
God.
last stream, there was a lot of talk about whether the events of Volume 2, or the later events, I mean, like where they're at the theme park, were taking place on August 14th or 15th, and nobody
Yeah.
could remember. So when I read Volumes 1 and 2 after that stream so I could get fully caught up, I went in, like, trying to think about that on purpose. And so the hostage situation at the mall happens on August 14th, and
Okay.
then Shintaro passes out and sleeps the entire night through, and they go to the theme park on August 15th itself.
Yes.
And
Okay.
you can tell because I think they mentioned that it's August 15th and like what time it is. And also when Shintaro's waking up in the Mekakushidan's hideout, they talk about making breakfast, and it was already
Okay.
well past breakfast time when like Shintaro left his house and got in the hostage situation. And
Okay.
so like when everyone dies, it's on August 15th, and then when Shintaro wakes up in his bed suddenly okay, the next scene afterwards, he says that it's August 14th, implying that there is some time stuff going on here.
Yep. And right before he wakes up in the bed too, he has a little flashback / dream / purgatory moment or whatever with Ayano, where he's like talking to her, and then
the scene.
he's like, here's your question. Why do you think I died? And then he wakes up. So now we're immediately told like somehow she died, but we don't know any of the context behind any of that. And, when I say things before, like probably a traumatic event made him repress some stuff, things like that are why I think that, because she's dead somehow, and they were close before, so what happened. We'll find out in the future volumes, I'm sure. And then
Actually,
maybe not. I
I
don't know.
I
feel
think
like
he's just a
this.
normal guy, actually.
I-
I don't
Oh,
know
okay, that's true.
why
That's true.
you
That's
guys
true.
would
That's very
fall.
true.
You guys, the songs. So at this point in the manga, you're supposed to be coming in already having seen this funny little song called Tome Answer, which came out several months before the manga even released, which gives some more context about those two. And I feel like you would all benefit from having seen that song already, and it will greatly enhance your experience of the later parts of the manga, especially where Ayano is concerned. So
I see.
like when we end this stream, if everyone doesn't leave immediately, I'm going to try and rope you guys into a watch party. I will screen share Tome Answer. You guys got to see this.
I think I would stay out of that myself just because I kind of want to consume this on its own, and then see my thoughts about consuming this on its own. But everybody else is more than welcome to consume that as well if they want. That's up to everybody
Okay, and I
else.
can easily see how you might want to view the manga first entirely and like evaluate it on its own merits. But if anybody is willing to sit down with me for Tome Answer, tell me right now.
Yeah,
We can talk about that when the
yeah,
stream's over.
you guys can figure that out afterwards, because you guys can figure that out then. But thank you for that. So there's the question of Ayano has died. What happened with that? We're gonna find that out later. We then continue on the story, having started over. We're on August 14th again, and we need a new excuse for him to go outside. This time he didn't spill his soda on his keyboard and mouse. This time he has spilled his soda directly into rabbit food, which he has a rabbit, which I don't remember that being a thing before, but he has a rabbit now.
Torrendo pointed out actually.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Oh,
Naruto
did he?
we
actually
did talk about this.
Oh,
yeah,
did
We
we?
did talk about
Naruto-
this.
Friendo did
Oh.
point it out last week.
Oh, okay.
I
Maybe I
think he
just
has
completely
Cage was in
forgot.
the corner.
Yeah, he has a cage in his room, and you can
Oh.
also see it in his character song. Sorry, I keep bringing up the songs.
I see. Yeah, I had completely forgotten about that, but yes, okay, yeah, but yeah, the rabbit, the camera cuts over to a close up of the rabbit, being like, "Oh, this is a cute little rabbit," but you've just ruined all of his food now. You've just ruined all of its food now, Shintaro.
There's no soul in that rabbit.
That rabbit's just like, my food. Where's my food? And he's just ready to tell his sister to go get the food, and she's like, "No, we're not fucking doing that. Okay, you're coming too." So they're going out shopping together. It is very hot. There's a panel where they are miserable from the heat. And this is also, in the context of the loops or whatever, his first time out in probably years again. So they're walking along, and that's when we meet two new characters again. We meet Hiyori and
Hibiya. Their names are Hiyori.
Hibiya. Yes, Hiyori and Hibiya, who are.
I think they've already stated their surnames, so I'll tell you.
They
It's
did.
Asahina Hiyori and Amamiya Hibiya.
Okay, yeah, they did mention them. I just couldn't remember them offhand, so thank you for that. So yeah, these two have shown up. Hiyori actually recognizes Momo and asks for an autograph, and I guess she's like, my autograph takes 30 minutes to do. I was like, what does she do for a 30-minute autograph? And I was like, she's not like an artist. She's an idol. What are we doing?
Momo.
And
Momo is a very weird girl.
and
She's
eventually
not
they
an
get
artist,
to.
but she's trying really hard to be
That's
one.
true. Yes. When they eventually do find the time to have her sit down and do it, she tries to draw something. I'll try to. I don't know if somebody else already captured it. I'm gonna screen cap it and post it anyways. This is her signature, and somebody has said that's terrifying. I think in the manga, and I agree. This is
Shintaro and Hibiya, I think it's weird because it is, because Momo is a very strange girl. But Hiyori gets her.
Listen, Hiyori understands. Hiyori's a real one, okay? If
She
I
is.
got this, I would think that someone put a curse on my life, I think. If someone handed me this, I'm very
That might become
terrified.
my new paralysis demon.
But listen, okay, we do appreciate somebody trying to learn art here, or at least I do, okay? So, good on them, but and meanwhile this is a problem because like at first when she met them and they were asking for the autograph or whatever, she was like, "Oh, sure, but it's gonna take like half an hour." Now there's a crowd forming already. But Hiyori is, I guess, ready to yell at everybody to get the fuck away, and everybody goes home. And
Hiyori knows what's up. This 12-year-old girl did not come to play.
based, yeah, and which is interesting introduction to that character. Hibiya's introduction is I don't care about any of this shit. I'm just around because I'm trying to go on a date here with Hiyori. But now she wants to hang out with her Oshi all day. Her Oshi has shown up and wants to hang out with us and go to the mall. What the fuck? My date with her is ruined now. And they hang out. They seemingly have a fun time. I like the moment where Hibiya and Shintaro were just kind of lagging behind for a moment, and Shintaro makes some comment kind of like, "Wow, that's rough, huh, buddy?" And Hibiya is like, "Shut the fuck up," or whatever. Again, these are not things these characters actually said, but that's kind of the feeling I get
Rephrasing
from
that is
them.
essentially what they said.
Yeah. Where he's just like, "Who the fuck asked you, Hibiya?" Or Hibiya's just looking at Shito like, "Why are you talking?" Like, oh my god. So I liked that little interaction. I liked
Hibiya's kind of an irritable guy, but he's also 12, so you got to give him some grace.
I would say I think it's weird if you just randomly ask these two kids that just met up with you to just hang out for the day just because they recognized you as an idol. I would think that's kind of weird,
Yeah,
but also
that's pretty weird.
I guess it's kind of weird, but also Momo is trying to live a life where she's not a celebrity. That's kind of what she really wants, I guess. And if Hiyori was strong enough to kind of scare these people to get the fuck away from her, I don't know. Maybe she was just wanted to repay the favor by like hanging out with this girl who seems to look up to her, I guess. I don't know.
It's kind of a strange thing, but it was well-meaning, so
Yeah.
A lot of this I'd pass off as they're children.
Yeah.
Like even Shintaro, most of his stuff. I mean, he's 18, but he acts like a child a lot of the times. He still clearly has a child's mentality.
He hasn't been outside since he was 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still. I guess you would call him a man-child now, but
yeah,
he's in a. I like to call him in a state of arrested development, which is thematically relevant.
Yeah, there you go. And Hibiya also keeps calling people Obasan, or at least Momo Obasan, which if I recall correctly, just is calling somebody a grandma or like old or whatever. So is this correct in the context for what's happening here?
It would be normal if you called your aunt that, but when you're calling a 16-year-old pop idol Obasan, that's like you're calling her an old hag.
Which is why Hiyori's like punching him in the stomach over it. Yeah. No, no, this is not a character you should get behind over that. No. Bad, Shadow, bad.
Why would you say, Grandpa?
Okay, listen.
We gotta teach you some manners. He
true.
turns 18 and he's just like, I don't have to listen to y'all.
Then, after they hang out.
What do you expect?
Oh my God.
Andy, what have you done to the child?
This isn't Andy's fault.
Do you really want me to answer that question?
You literally just said it was Andy's fault.
When did I say it was Andy's fault?
He said
I got a
DM
a while ago. I got a DM a while ago from Shadow that was like, "Am I a bad influence on you?" And at least 2 days prior, we had been talking about some adult stuff on my stream, and I was like, "No, you're not the problem. I am."
Oh my God. Well. All right. Well.
Wait, hold on. I'm confused.
We'll unpack that later.
I thought you were Shadow.
Listen. None of this has to do with Kage Pro. I want to talk about Kage Pro. I want to talk about Hibiya. I want to talk about Hiyori.
So, like, after they finish hanging out,
again?
Hibiya's the boy. Hibiya's the boy.
So
what
little
boy?
shit.
There's like 5
The
boys
young
in
little.
this.
We met two new characters at the very end that are very tiny children that are just hanging out with Momo. That's these two. Hibiya's the boy.
And
Hiyori's
I thought
the
they
girl.
weren't going to be important. I don't think they're going to be important.
Wait.
I feel like they will be very important.
They're gonna die.
Andy, I have something
okay.
extremely important.
They're gonna get
Wait.
put in.
I want to cut in. I want to cut in.
Listen. whether or not they're important or not, we will find out together as a family.
I'm
We
not
don't
gonna
have to.
say whether or not they're important. I'm just
Okay,
going to
okay,
point out some things about observable reality.
sure.
So, as you might have, I think we've already mentioned before how the songs, or the manga chapters are titled after the character songs of the characters heavily involved in them. This is like already something we know, right?
Yep.
So the titles with Takane's backstory are called UK Yesterday because Takane's character song is called UK Yesterday. This is fair game
Sure.
information.
Yeah.
You might have noticed that these last two chapters were titled Kagerou Daze.
Yes,
And
I
that
did
is
notice
referring
this.
specifically to the character song Kagerou Daze
Yes.
and not to the manga as a whole.
Right.
And also, there is a truck at the end of this volume. That's all I'm going to say on
Trucks happen. Truck
Not
Coon
again.
showing up again.
Like Zombieland Saga.
That is a good point. So the songs and titles that were involved with the chapters this week, we had UK Yesterday, we had Headphone Actor, and then we had Kagerou Daze. Was there any others?
So Headphone Actor is another one of Takane's character songs. She has UK
yes.
Yesterday and Headphone Actor and some others, but those don't matter right now.
Right. And I believe those are the only three for this week, or was there another one that we're missing? I think those
That's
are
correct. Those are the only three.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because the way this manga does it, for those of you listening who might not be checking out the chapter names or whatever, it's those song titles, but like split into parts. And I think in some cases they jump between the which parts are presented or whatever. I could be
so you
wrong,
might
though.
get like UK Yesterday 2, and then you'll get like Headphone Actor 1 or
Yes,
something
yep.
like that, just as a stock example.
Right. Yep. I remember that happening. I was like, oh, we're on Headphone Actor now. Oh, we're back to UK Yesterday. Okay. Yeah, because I remember that happening. It goes like UK Yesterday 1 through 4, and then Headphone Actor 2, and then UK Yesterday again, and then Headphone Actor again. So we jump back and forth a bit. Not too much, though. And right now we're on Kagerou Daze, or at least we ended this week on Kagerou Daze 2. So yeah. So we had the whole the meetup with Hibaya and Hiyori, and they eventually go to break away, go their separate ways. They Momo and Shintaro go home. That's when they realize Hibaya was trying to go on a date with Hiyori. That kind of got ruined by Momo and Shintaro kind of hanging out with them, but it's whatever. They were, he was still gonna Momo had like a little whisper chat with Hibaya because she's just like, I know what you are. I know what you're doing here. Okay. I know what you're planning to do. There's a nice park nearby. If you want to like give her that keychain that you bought earlier, that'd be a nice place to do it. I'm just saying. And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't know what the hell you're talking about, boss-san, or whatever. And so they go off, and then Momo realizes, oh, we still have the keychain. This isn't good. He was gonna try to give it to that girl, because he likes that girl. You should call her, or we should call her because I have her number. I'm gonna try calling her, and that's where we immediately see a truck approaching Hiyori, and they're like, "What is happening? Some kind of emergency has happened," and that's how we end the week off that cliffhanger of Truck-kun approaching Hiyori. So
I would like to reiterate that again. These two chapters were called Kagerou Daze, and the
yes.
volume ends with Hiyori about
Yep.
to get hit by a truck.
Yep. And somewhere Kinjiro is smiling about how he's ready to open the Kagerou Daze, or so. What did he say?
And then he's gonna
something like that.
Kagerou Daze all over those
all
guys.
over them with his truck. Okay, with his truck. So
Wait.
See, I didn't even notice that it was a truck. I just was seeing I thought she was in like a room or something.
Nope,
no,
that's a truck.
yeah. That's a truck approaching her, and her just saying
also-
no, stop. Now, like our
Like-
characters can't see what's happening over the phone, of course. So that's why when we cut to whatever's happening to them, it seems like it's more of like a void or whatever. But we see the truck, which probably more implies that they hear the truck on the phone. So that's where, you don't exactly know what's happening, but they hear enough to be able to tell those details. And so that's where we get the impression of a truck is approaching them in some way, shape, or form. And it's probably not in a good way for them.
Yeah. I just assumed it was like window, like the black stuff was just windows, and she's like stuck in a room being attacked.
I see.
Kenjiro is driving in his car right after a beer.
Oh my god. I understood that reference. I understood.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
yeah.
Also, I'm going somewhere with this. I need you. Okay, so Kagerou, you guys are talking about in the chat how the line Kagerou Daze is translated in some fan translations as heat-haze days. And
Mm,
the word Kagerou is a sort of like niche term in Japanese that refers to heat distortion. So, as in like, you know, when it's summertime and you sort of see wobbly shimmeriness over top of cars or concrete, and you can also see that sort of wobbliness over top of campfires. That's the heat distortion that Kagero refers to. So it is often translated as heat haze to preserve both its meaning and the sort of poetic sound of the word Kagero. Kagero is again a rare term that uses an irregular reading on like its second kanji. It's a two kanji compound word. And it is also a homonym for the word for mayfly. And interestingly, when the word Kagero means like mayfly, it takes on that meaning. It can also be used as a poetic term to refer to the transience of life. And I don't
mm,
think that being chosen for Kagepro was a coincidence.
mm. Okay, okay.
So yes, it can be called the heat haze days or the Kagero days.
Okay. Yeah. There's yeah, a lot to unpack with that. Oh, I'm seeing the uh version that you're reading that you posted there, Ari, as well, of the truck as well. I can understand why you thought that. I'm trying to check my version to see if mine looked that much different. Maybe slightly with the way the colors are leveled, but I can understand why
Oh,
you would
I didn't.
think.
I didn't know
I'll
it's truck either. Actually,
I'll show the panel that they looked at on stream, because it is supposed to be a truck, and I think maybe my
Like,
official version kind of makes
admittedly,
it more clear. But I think it
admittedly,
has to do with the
Sato's
colors.
yeah, admittedly, Sato's illustration is not super clear on the details unless you kind of already know what it is. I don't think this is like the series' best panel composition.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I understand why you think that. I think there's just like some slight color level correction going on with the official manga release that made it more apparent to me that it's a truck. Like I could see the headlight more clearly in the bottom right and stuff. But yeah, I can understand why you looked at this and you thought it was like looking at like a window or whatever. I can understand that. Because I can see in one way this almost looking like somebody's at home looking out a window that's like half open or whatever, and assuming maybe somebody is coming inside or breaking out or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
I guess because of the NA stuff beforehand, I was just picturing like that she was like in a classroom or somewhere and being
Yeah.
attacked.
Mm,
It just looked like a room where she's being attacked.
right.
So
Yeah. So
especially
that's
because
Well,
it
that's
like
understandable.
right.
it looks kind of dark and stuff. But
Yeah. But yeah, it is a truck. And you can kind of tell if you look closer. There's like the headlights in the corner and stuff. So it is a truck, and I think the sound effects are supposed to be like screech and like crash or like horns or whatever, stuff like that. So it is a truck. Truck Kun is here. Okay, ready to introduce itself to the time loop. Everyone's favorite Truck Kun. Give it up for Truck Kun. Yeah,
So
and
can
that yeah, go on.
uh I don't know if this is a good idea. I was thinking of maybe sending a novel image of the exact same moment happening, so it's not like spoilers or anything. It's literally just the same thing in two different timelines. And it's the same moment but illustrated by Shizu, and I think it makes the details a lot clearer, but I won't for reasons.
I mean,
Okay,
I think
okay.
we get the idea that it's just a
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah, we get it. Yeah. Like I said, the reason why it was probably less obvious in the version that some other people read is I think mostly one, maybe the color levels, and two, the overall layout. I think a lot of the sound effects on the image block some of the details that would make it more
Yeah,
distinct for
Yeah.
this being a
Again,
truck. So it's
I
understandable, yeah.
actually I don't think this moment was super well paneled.
Yeah, yeah,
it's
it
not.
happens, and and part of me, you know, kind of understands why it's not. Because I mean, in my view, this whole scene, you're supposed to be very confused about what's happening because they're just listening to it over the phone. Like they could probably assume it's some kind of car or whatever, but they might not see the full picture because they're just hearing sounds on the phone. So I think it's kind of understandable for why it's like that, but it definitely with this kind of medium, it makes it difficult with that. So yeah, it's not the best paneling with it, but also it's trying to be like a what the fuck was that? What just happened? Kind of cliffhanger, I guess. So, and that's where it kind of ends for this week, as it looks at the alarm clock and sees it is just past midnight, and we've now reached August 15th. So now we are on to August 15th, and then yeah, that was pretty much the end of the volumes for this week. I did want to also mention immediately after that whole final page Truck-kun horrible accident happening reveal. The next page is author notes from Mahiro, the artist behind this, and it's Konoha with the gun, but it's shooting at Kano, but it's shooting out flowers instead. one of those, like, I think we had these kind of moments before with
And then Shintaro tells them to do the scene over from the top like it's a movie set.
Yeah. It reminded me of Umineko, when the Umineko afterwards stuff was doing the same serious panels, but we changed up some of the text or like the things happening and stuff. It was very funny with that.
The dramatic,
super serious,
bloody, gory one.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Also in the notes for it, they had mentioned that the anime for Kagerou Daze or Mikaku City Actors, whatever it was called, had just started airing. So this is around the time when it was about to start airing. So we reached that point where that's going off on its own timeline.
Time flies.
I know, right?
I think the anime at this point was actually like on the horizon, I want to say, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, something
It had
about
definitely
that,
been announced at this point, but I'm not certain that it had started airing.
Yeah. Like I said, I just remember watching it in college, I think in like 2015 or something like that. Maybe it was 2016. I think it was closer to 2015, maybe 14. I don't remember. But I remember checking out in college. So yeah, and I'm showing it on stream right now, the little bonus meme funny comic there. There you go. You get the funny. You get the funny for this week. All right. What else was there for us to? Oh yeah, what was the bunny's name?
Tonal. It's Tonal.
Which it had a note about that as well.
Yeah, so it's a fancy way of saying like Mr. or Lord in Japanese, but Tonal the bunny is female.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
This will be on the quiz.
Yeah, hey, Shadow, you can't spoil the quiz. What are you doing? What are you doing? You can't be leaking the answers like this. What is this?
If I get them all right, it's not going to matter.
Could I perhaps be hinting at what you should be paying attention to? No, I would never. But listen, Shadow's just like, I will be the certified knower of things yet again.
I will be you this time. Okay.
Oh, okay, all right.
I won't lose to them.
Okay, all right.
I think it's really sweet that Shintaro has a pet rabbit. I hope the need to keep another innocent living thing alive inspired him to take better care of himself in turn.
Listen, at least this other creature in his life is not fucking with his computer files or monitoring him at times or threatening to leak his poetry, his cringe poetry or whatever.
But you see, Chef, that's what they want you to think. Secretly, Toto's been communicating with Eni while Shintaro's asleep.
Oh my god! You know what? I believe it. Yeah, I think I also forgot to mention the slight detail with Haruka. Haruka, we had mentioned was also found in like a test tube experiment thing. He also looked different. His I guess headphone actor look or whatever type thing. I don't know if this is what their alt version.
Haruka himself wasn't actually in the game headphone actor because headphone actor refers to only like the game that they threw together in a week for the school festival. The actual like big online shooter that Takane and Haruka play together afterwards is just called Dead Bullet, and it's his Dead Bullet design.
Okay, so it's
also sort of his OC.
Specifically,
it's
Dead
like
Bullet 1989.
It's basically Haruka's like it's his Sona. That's Haruka's Sona.
Based the gamers rising up, okay, and he's also come up with a new name for himself similar to the method that Ene did, which is Kotoha, I believe was the name. Kotoha.
It's Konoha.
Konoha. Yes, Konoha. And so I think I had referenced Konoha shooting Kano. That's who I was referencing. That is Haruka, who has shown up and has started blasting. Right? That was the. I was not misunderstanding that. That was in fact him. I just assumed that was him. Perhaps I was
Yes, but
wrong. So
like I said earlier, you will have noticed that that version of Konoha had black hair
he
and
does
a
have
black
black hair. Yeah.
outfit, and
And
so
we'll probably
fans,
find out more later.
yeah,
You're right.
Like
Yep.
which
fans
one's which.
fans tend
Yeah.
to call that version of him Kuroha. I said
You're
this
right.
earlier, but it's a portmanteau of Konoha and Kuro,
Sure.
the Japanese word for black, and this is
Yep.
useful because it keeps things from getting confusing.
Right. Yep. Makes sense to me. So, yeah, that was another detail I just wanted to remember that we brought up, because I remember that being obviously that was the big sudden moment for me this week. I was like, all right, well, now we're jumping back to the gang, leaving the amusement park. Wow, what a fun time that they had. I wonder what shenanigans are going to be up to.
And then
Oh,
the Americans
he's
came.
got a fucking
Gunshots.
gun. Oh my god,
Gunshots.
everybody's dead. Oh my god. And like that scene was terrifying too, because like they all have like some kind of superpowers of some kind there, but like they were just so shocked at it
Always
happening
forgot.
all of a sudden. Nobody was doing
And
anything, and
the-
then they all just fucking died. And it's
Slowed
it's
down.
yep.
What can I say? The best power of them all is the American power.
Oh my god, it wasted no time taking them out, and again, even crushing the phone Aine's on, just yeah. Oh my god, those panels were fucking brutal. And then we just, all right, you waking up now. All right, let's go buy some. Let's go buy some rabbit food. Let's hang out with my fans. I gotta do my autograph real quick. I'm sure nothing bad. Oh, a truck. Oh no,
Real quick.
nothing bad will happen.
You know,
It's fine.
I think this dichotomy is very close to the heart of the project. There's a
Mm.
lot of just fun hanging out times with the characters, and it is constantly paired with brutal tragedy and death. And that pairing is important.
Yeah.
We've
yeah.
never had that before in book club.
It
never-
compromises both. I think it
Honestly,
completely
it
compromises
did.
Do.
It's never happened my favorite comedy before. Never.
It did remind me a lot on this reread of like not just some of the specifics, but tonally it reminded me a lot of reading Higurashi. Now that I've revisiting it with that context, it's like the whole bit with the bank robbers is very Matsuri Bayashi, which I know that's a very specific pull, but yeah.
So, I mean, I've never read Higurashi, sadly, but Higurashi is a time loop story, right? And doesn't Higurashi mean like
It means
cicada,
cicada.
basically? Yeah, cicada.
Yeah.
And cicadas are also a big motif in the Kagerou project. You will
Oh,
come to
okay,
find.
that's cool. Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
have a lot to say about cicadas as a motif in Kage Pro, but I won't say it here because
Yeah,
Too
I'm
much.
sure it'll come up more so later. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, we are at the point now where this story is going to be diverging into its own original thing compared to the other timelines or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Like I said, I'm not really gonna know much of the details of the differences, but as we go on, we can discuss some of these differences as long as it's not like any big reveals or whatever about other things or whatever. But it'll be interesting to see. And as we do with the usual series that we consume here at Book Club, there will eventually come a time where we go to check out at least the anime counterpart of it. With Kagerou Daze, I specifically also wanted us to check out some of the music videos together, as a watch party thing, but that'll be like
I
later once
really
we're
hope you
done
guys
with the
read the
manga.
novels. I really, really hope you guys read the novels,
Yeah.
especially
We
the back
will.
half
We
of the
just gotta start
novels.
the anime.
Sorry, we won't.
Well, not probably not for the book club podcast discussion at least, but if people want to, like I said, I linked the a big master post link thing that supposedly has linked to a bunch of other ways to consume Kagerou Daze from its other forms. So if anybody's interested in those are there. But most likely, like I've discussed before, novels for the book club have been kind of too complicated for us to implement. That's why we've been just sticking with manga for the most part, but it's not
and too
impossible.
lengthy.
So.
It's difficult to quickly
Yeah.
recap the entire events of a novel the same way you can a volume of manga. It just doesn't work out as
Yeah.
well. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like,
most
I'm
book clubs
really
I know that
against
do
the
that do it like
idea.
once a month or whatever, But,
Yeah, I'm really against the idea of jumping straight into the anime after the manga because you are fundamentally missing pieces after you if you do that.
yeah. Whenever we do get to the counterpart stuff of things, I'd imagine we'd be checking out the music videos first, because those will probably be quicker to consume anyways, and then check out the anime at some point afterwards. That's what I kind of had in my head for that kind of stuff. But I understand the novels are probably something that you should consume in between, but that's just how it is with that. So, but yeah, so I am very interested in seeing where the story goes now at this point. It sounds like all the other creators involved in this project were also, we're also, because this was back in like, 2015 when this was published, or what, 2014 or something.
I think we're into like 2014 now because the anime was coming out in the anime count.
Yeah. So, even they were excited to see where this original timeline was going to go with its story. So I'm interested, and I'm excited to see. I will also say, I think I mentioned this last week too, I owned a couple volumes of this physically from many years ago. I think it was only maybe the first 2 volumes. I think you had posted, or somebody had posted a photo of all the manga volumes together. And
that was me. I own all 13.
And volume 2 specifically has its title on the spine yellow, and everything else is not.
There are 13 volumes in the Kagerou Daze manga, and I have all 13, which you do not see every day. And all of the lettering on both the manga spines and on the manga covers is black. So the big Kagerou Daze logo title is written in black, except for volume 2, where it is yellow on both the cover and spine. And we still don't know why they did this. I've never seen a copy of volume 2 that wasn't yellow. It's just yellow for some reason. Assumedly, Yen Press was going to have like a different color for the title with every
That's what
volume,
I assume.
but they just didn't do it. So there's just one yellow one now. It's weird.
Yeah,
Also,
that was going to be my assumption, yeah.
It would not surprise me if you only had the first 2 volumes, because you see a lot of like old manga hauls of people owning the first 2 volumes and not anymore. I guess they just made a lot of those or something. I don't know.
Sure.
It's really common to own the first 2, but nothing else.
Sure, yeah.
So here's something funny. When y'all were talking about that, my mind went to the De Greyman manga spines, which are alternating white and black spines. So even if you, in the English and the Japanese release, you have the nice alternating color scheme throughout. So my mind immediately went, oh, maybe they were going to do something like that, and they did that in Japanese, but Yen Press just stopped.
Yeah,
no, they're all black in Japanese.
I've considered this idea before, but when you look at Japanese listings, the manga spines look really different.
They're all so that's normal. That's normal for the spines to change somewhat between Japanese and English because, formatting differences, but also
you have to
different
change lettering
publishers.
so much. It's just really funny that like Yen Press fumbled it so hard.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm trying to say is that the Japanese versions, I posted an image in the book club chat. It's very uniform, pretty typical manga spines in the Japanese version, and they don't have the yellow singular yellow one for 2, which is funny because I was thinking like, oh, maybe they did like a different color for the days or something. I don't know, but no, it's just Yen Press. Somebody asked a Yen Press employee from like 2012 or something, 2015. Someone asked him that.
I'll get him on the phone.
Hold on.
I'll get him on the phone right now.
I can check the copyright page for when this was released. Okay, so the localization came out in 2016.
Oh,
even if this was like a 2014 manga volume.
You're right. Yeah. Okay. I was trying to find the image you had posted of the yellow spine one.
Wait, I just sent it in spoiler. Wait, I sent it
you sent
in the
it again?
channel. I sent it in the wrong channel.
No, that's fine. It doesn't matter as long as I can find it somewhere, so I can download it. Yeah, that's fine. All right, I got it.
There's mine specifically. I have really cool bookends that look like rocks.
Oh, interesting. Okay, let me shrink it down.
I love Lady Lustrous.
True. It's a book club favorite. Let's see here. Oh, there you go.
4 of us that read it.
So this is here on the right side for those watching the stream. As you can see, one of these is not like the others, okay? One of these is yellow. And then here on the Japanese release on the left, they're all very uniform, whatever. So, yeah, yeah. They tried something, it seemed, and then they just kind of stopped. They were like, no, let's not. And well, that's just how it is, I guess. So that's yeah, a very interesting thing to note about that. You know what it reminded me of, and I don't know many people that will also have noticed this too. It reminded me of the TV show Monk, which is about a detective who has OCD. When they released the DVDs, all the spines were lined up except for the very last one. And I'm gonna post that.
That's so ironic.
It's this. It reminded me of this. I'll show it on stream too. All of them are lined up except the last one, and that's just because of his OCD being his
That's
like
great.
detective thing there. So
He can't even line up his own DVDs correctly.
yeah,
He's
I mean that's a case of that being done clearly on purpose. But Kagerou Daze was
This
clearly like
this was just-
something was planned and then canceled, probably.
On
Yeah.
one hand, I think it is an absolute miracle that this series got a localization at all, because it's not very big. It doesn't have the same effect if you take it out of Japanese cultural context, because it's relying on a lot of things
Yeah.
like linguistic idioms for the eye power names, and the Obon holiday is a big thing, and it's just the sort of thing that's difficult to make work for an English audience, especially considering the relevance of the songs, which are of course in Japanese, and were originally uploaded on a Japanese website, and it's just not the sort of thing that you can give easily to like an English speaking audience. So the fact that Yen Press decided to pick this series up is something that I am forever thankful for. But also, goddamn, did they kind of handle it clumsily?
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where I can only assume they licensed it and like it actually got licensed by them and they got to try to do it was because it was a new upcoming anime. They were probably trying to grab a bunch of manga series that were upcoming anime, and it was by Studio
It
Shaft.
actually
The anime was by
wouldn't
Studio
have been an upcoming anime at the time, because the
Well,
localization for like
right.
most of the volumes came out in 2016,
Oh,
2
sure.
years
Yeah,
afterwards.
I should
Kagerou
correct
was
myself with that,
definitely
yeah.
already kind of coming down from its peak by 2016. It peaked in popularity in 2013 and 14 and was slowly declining after that.
Sure. What I just mean is that like it was something that had an anime adaptation that was also adapted by Studio Shaft, which had at that time, I believe it was around this time when they were starting to get huge for Bakemonogatari, I believe.
And hadn't they already done Madoka by this point?
That
Madoka Magica came out in 2011.
Yes, it was probably closer to Madoka coming out too. So Studio Shaft was already like pretty fucking big and notable, and like everybody in the anime community loved like everything that they were working on at the time, I think. And so, you know, when you know, because obviously the localization didn't come out until like a couple years after the anime, but they probably grabbed the rights for it and localized it because at the time that was happening, and then they eventually did release it or whatever. That's my assumption for why that happened, and then probably also for some cases like they tried to go all out with like additional details like changing the color of some of the spines or whatever before they realize, oh, maybe let's not do that because it's going to cost us more money to do things
maybe
like that.
We don't want to put this much money into this series that is not going to sell that well ever.
And it's also funny too that you can very clearly see that happening, that decision happening after volume 2, because that's like the point where I'm just like, okay, they've seen the sales for volume 1 after this point, and they're probably just like, yeah, well, maybe next time.
As I've already pointed out, it's really, really common to see people have volume 1 and 2 and not have anything else. A lot of times, so if you've ever looked for secondhand manga on eBay, you will find listing after listing of people selling manga in bulk. And if you look up Kagerou Daze, you'll get a bunch of bulk listings, and it's always the first 2 volumes. Every single time.
Okay.
And so I think something happened with the sales there. It's just my 2 cents on it. And I was going to say something. Right, Shaft. My hot take is that Shaft was the perfect studio for the anime. Like, their artistic direction works really well for Kagerou. A lot of people don't think that.
Whenever I think about the Studio Shaft head tilt that's become iconic with their studio, I think of some of the shots that I remember from the Kagerou Daze anime. I think of those shots of the head tilts and that. So, but yeah. All right. What else? Was there anything else? I think we went over all the main events that happened. Is there any things that people wanted to bring up this week that we have not discussed yet that they wanted to bring up and discuss? Anybody? Okay. How do we feel about some of our new characters introduced in general? I remind the people of some of the new characters introduced. We got Aine's background character, who itself is kind of new in that kind of sense. We had Haruka slash Konoha. We had Hibaya Hiyori,
Hibia and Hiyori. I love Hiyori. I love
and the,
Hiyori.
and then we had Ayano. So, anybody have any specific things they want to say about our new characters that they I don't know, any
Miss
particular favorites from these, or
Miss Tateyama Ayano is my favorite.
Okay.
Not the new characters, but I guess I would say she is still a new character this week in because we are actually seeing she's actually
the real
given,
side of her.
Yeah, she's actually given a character now.
Yep.
I mean, obviously she had some before, but now she's like actually given focus. Anyway,
Yeah.
I liked Ine a lot more now.
Yeah.
I liked seeing her story and stuff. And just seeing like kind of a fail girl. Like she's just really good at games.
Yes. Yeah.
Terrible
Right?
at school.
She's kind
Love
of
it.
pathetic, and she's always talking about like every time she's mildly inconvenient, she says, "I should just die."
I really liked the part where Ayano's like, "Yeah, you're just like Shintaro," and Ine's like, "What?" And then she immediately pulls out the, "Yeah, I'm self-centered. I'm the terrible person."
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh,
the inner
yeah,
reflection. Yep.
you're right." Just immediate.
Oh shit. That's me.
Yeah, I like Ine a lot more now.
I agree. Listen, I was already Borg, okay? I knew, all right? Okay? My my stocks are going up here this week, all right? It's good. I was eating good this week with the volumes. But I am very excited to see what background stuff we're going to get for some of the other characters too that I know we're going to be focusing on in the future. So I'm very excited to see how those are handled as well, because I know I really enjoyed how Anne's story was handled. So I'm very interested to see how the other candles, candles? What's wrong with me? The other characters are handled. Okay, I combined those two words. Okay, listen, I'm just shortening the name like Anne and Honoka did. Okay, it's fine. It's
It's Konoha.
Same thing. Konoha. Okay, I will remember this for the quiz. Don't worry, Konoha. I'll remember this. Okay. All right. Everyone has a better grade than Momo. Is this true? That's true. She got like what, a 4? She got 2.
No,
she got 2. Oh my god. Listen, it's fine. I still
ultimate fail girl.
Listen, she doesn't need grades. She's an idol, even though I think Turndo even brought this up again in the chat or something. I think I brought this up last week during book club. I don't remember. There's the question of like, how much money does she actually make? And you know, doesn't seem like it's like life-changing amounts of money, but I don't know. Well, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, the idol industry is predatory. Everyone knows this.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this as well last time when I brought that up too, because I was just like, doesn't seem like they're being paid a lot, but you know, I guess it could be just predatory or whatever. I don't know. It just seems like Momo is like, I don't like this because I just want to live a normal life now, but everywhere I go, everybody's always noticing me or whatever. But it's not just that as well. It's that plus she's not even getting fucking paid for it properly. So listen, I might join a gang randomly too if I was in her shoes. In that case, I don't know. Why not?
Also, it's kind of implied that Momo doesn't like love performing or anything.
Yeah, of course.
When we first see her put on stage, you can see her looking super awkward in her costume and uncomfortable. Doesn't seem to really be her thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and she also says in the manga that she doesn't have any particular interest in TV or music, and she's just doing this because people say she should.
Right. Yep. Yeah. You know, and we'll I'm assuming learn more about her in the future. We'll see what's going on with her side of things. So, and yeah, I really enjoyed Ane a lot this week. I liked the little interactions that we had with Ayano briefly. I liked the little bits that we got with Hibaya and Hiyori. I thought that was a very fun a break from everything immediately after a traumatic murdering of our entire group. So it was very interesting going back and forth between that and then tragedy immediately afterwards again with the truck stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I think the only one who's still a big kind of mystery for me is Haruka slash Konoha. It's going to be interesting to see how that character develops more for me in the future. So, because right now he was at first puppy dog boy is like, oh yeah, that's very cool, Ane. Well, oh my god, that's so cool. Yeah, you're so cool. To hey guys, how's it going? I have a fucking gun. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. So, anyways.
By the way, Haruka actually has his own light novel. I'm not going to tell you anything more, of course, but he does have a light
interesting.
novel.
Oh
It's
my
novel
God.
6, the hardest one to get physically.
Oh,
It's been out of print for a while.
That's some of the older stuff can be harder to get for some series specifically. I remember us discussing this when it came to Umineko as well, how that shit is very expensive to get now, but that's also a much longer series.
Okay? When we finished it, it's all going to get reprint, and then we're like, damn.
Well, unfortunately, Umineko did not, in fact, get reprinted as a manga. Otherwise, everybody would be cheering in the streets, I think.
One day, just trust.
One day,
don't worry.
okay?
That's going to come out.
When the stage play. Look, they're gonna
I'm
license
waiting.
the stage play once they get to episode 8. Okay, we only got 2 more episodes, and
I'm
then
ready.
they're gonna license it. Okay,
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
And then they're gonna license the manga again or to reprint it, and
And
then
then
we're gonna
they're-
get Kaikonia episode 2,
And they're going to announce Umineko Gold finally coming out.
and a new
Oh
No,
my
no, no,
God.
no, no. I'm not gonna make a new one. They're gonna continue the old one. Ari.
Oh,
Same studio and everything.
no.
From the same studio.
It's the monkey's paw. Like, you get everything else, but the only anime adaptation you get is a continuation.
Listen.
Anyway.
Can you imagine if a studio adapted Kagerou Daze and they just stopped after the first time loop end and you just didn't get the rest of what the story was? That's basically what the Umineko anime experience was.
If a studio
Okay?
adapted Kagerou Daze and then didn't make it an alternate route, I would like riot. I would go to war.
Oh my God. So
Welcome to Umineko.
all right, so that's pretty much the bulk of what we have to discuss this week. If anybody has anything final that they want to discuss or theories they want to present or anything that they want to talk about before we wrap up for this week, speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, well, hearing nothing, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging around and discussing Kagerou Daze Volumes 3 and 4. What will happen with the next volumes? Will we meet Truck-kun? Will there be more guns involved? Will we finally feed the rabbit? I think they did feed the rabbit towards the end, though, right? So the rabbit's eaten. Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
good for
it's
him.
already fed.
Good for him.
We're not
Good
doing
for
that
him.
again.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely won't come
Right
up at
on
all again.
next loop. That rabbit's hungry again. We gotta feed some more food.
As long as he doesn't spill the drink on the rabbit food, the rabbit will be fine. Okay, listen. The drink
Spills the drink on the rabbit. Have to get
Oh.
a new rabbit.
Oh no! Oh no! No! All right. Well,
He spilled the drink on himself. Needs to get a new Shintaro.
well, we'll find out what happens with that next time. So thank you so much again, everybody, for coming to hang out. Again, we discuss manga 2 volumes a week every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern time every Thursday night. So we will be here next week to discuss volumes 5 and 6. So stop by, listen to us on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. We're on all those at the same time. You can go to youtube.wolfborg.com, twitch.wolfborg.com.
I used the sad horn instead of the arrow
No,
horn. I'm so
no,
sorry.
that's fine. You press that one when I say Kick. Okay, that's appropriate to do for Kick. So, So yeah, so you can check out us on all those platforms all at the same time. You can go to wolfborg.com if you want to see my links to everything, or you can just type youtube.wolfborg.com, twitch.wolfborg.com. You know, you can just do those things to take directly. And if you want to become a part of the book club directly or join our discussions, you can join discord.wolfborg.com. You can join the Discord server, grab yourself the book club role, and you can come hang out and be a part of the Kagerou Daze enjoyment. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining up. Let's see who we're going to raid into this week. Who do we have here? We will raid into... Oh my god, was that the Higurashi? Oh my god.
The Higurashi.
John Higurashi himself? Oh my
That's part of the
god.
anime.
His name is Keiichi Maebara, and you look to show some goddamn respect on his name.
Her name is Katie.
Oh my god. Alright. We're gonna raid into Lomi Cat, who is doing art. The title says, Britney Spears says she just found out how to extrude a mesh in Blender. It's actually really easy. You just press E. I don't know what that's referring to, but it seems like we're doing art, so enjoy. Enjoy that if you're interested in that. I appreciate you all. Thanks for coming to hang out, and we will talk to you all next week. So bye, gamers. Bye-bye. Stay safe.
Bye.
Watch out for Truck-kun.
I had a great time talking
Thank
about
you.
Kagerou. Have
Thank
I
you
ever
for
mentioned I
being
really
here.
like talking about Kagerou?
Thank you.